about tenacity, about fortitude, about conviction, about being grounded, about solidity, consistency, excellence. Not about how large you seem on the outside, about how well-rounded and grounded you are on the inside. Tayo Cruz says I can be. 6:33, we're jumping into the headlines this morning, and a newspaper review segment brought to you by Total. If you have a game-changing, innovative business idea or project that can impact society positively, this is your chance. Total Energies presents the 4th edition of the Startup of the Year Challenge. We're looking for 3 winners. Best Entrepreneur, Best Project or Innovative Business, and Best Project Promoting or Relating to Sustainable and Affordable Energy. Go on to startup@totalenergies.com for your chance to win financial support, professional mentorship, and a spotlight for your project. Hashtag Startup a Challenge, hashtag Total Energies. And Fidelity Bank. Happy to assist you to transfer money across the continent using the Pan-African payment and settlement system. Securely, instantly, affordably. To Nigeria, to the Gambia, to Liberia, to Guinea, and Sierra Leone.
Stronger.
Usually on Tuesdays, we hear from concerned residents of Ghana. Just to say, it's been raining a lot in the western part of the country and the northern and middle parts of the country. So don't be deceived thinking that the rainy season is over. I'm on a platform that usually shares weather forecast. And Nathan, every day it rains somewhere in the north, you know. Wow. And it's funny. Where we are at Dabraka all the way to Aplau is a very dry zone. Most people on the western part of the coast get more rain than on the eastern part. Okay. And then generally the western part of the country has more rain, which is why the forest zone, western region, western north, and parts of Ashanti have more forest than the eastern parts. I need to say though that the parts of the eastern Volta all the way up north also getting a lot of rain. So we just need to be watching that water level in the Akosombo Dam. We need to watch it closely, people, because rain doesn't announce itself that much, but it's been falling consistently. So we're hoping that if VRA is thinking of anything, they are thinking of it the right way. The word to the wise is enough.
But I'm even wondering if we had planned properly as a country, we should find ways of trapping all this rain and using it for some productive...
Which is why we have the dams. So we have the Akosombo Dam.
Well, yes, but what about all dam? The others we probably could have and should have?
That's the Pualugu Dam. So the Pualugu is the next most important dam, which we are told there's financial challenges. So, yeah, that's a good point. Meanwhile, Ghana is expected to be cloudy with cases of slight to moderate rains and occasional thunder over a few areas within the southern half this morning. Mist or fog patches will reduce visibility along the coastal forest and hilly places early this morning. So if you're driving up the hill. However, sunny intervals will be observed, giving way to occurrences of isolated thunderstorms or rain over parts of the coastline. And if you look at the map, lots of the western and Ashanti and eastern regions will have rain, as will Volta and Oti. The northwestern parts will be dry today. So stay safe out there. As we jump into the headlines, Nathan, let's start with the Finder.
Well, the new Finder is here. It says $15 billion saved, deferred, paves the way for resumption of stalled projects. Economic recovery on course. That's coming from the president. Government raised $3.6 billion cedis. Cedi weakens further. That's on page 4 of the new Finder. And only 4% of SDGs on track for Africa by 2030. That's coming from the special advisor. And claims Jinapo granted mining license to foreigners false. That's also on page 4 of the paper.
Okay, let me take you to the Ghanaian Times this morning. 2024 election. Don't endorse presidential candidates. The clergy are being admonished. Also this morning, we're told the communications minister launches foundation to empower youth and women. She was here yesterday, and African leaders advised to double efforts towards attainment of SDGs by 2030. And Ghana's Eurobond holders reach agreement with government on debt restructuring. We're told they're getting some $4 billion in haircut also.
Yes.
Anyway, the Daily Guide says Nana orders 1.5 billion cedi bailout for defunct bank's customers. Closed fishing season begins July 1.
Okay.
NDC lies, deceit exposed. That's coming from Godfrey Dami. And in relation to the elections, vigilantism laws to be enforced.
Okay.
Let me take you to the Chronicle. I have a big plan for Ghana, says Alan Cash, as he officially launches GTP. Also, stalled projects to resume soon, the president is assuring everybody. Bloody clash averted at Kwewu Abetifi. And then something here that said coming attraction. When the coach refuses to field top players, he must be rehearsing excuses for defeat.
Hey. Is it football or politics?
No.
They say coming soon. Coming attraction.
When the coach refuses to field experienced players,
yes,
he must be rehearsing excuses for defeat.
Yes.
Okay.
The Anchor newspaper. Assault at Laboni SHS. Housemaster detained students in his office for hours. No food, no water. Family petitions GES Education Ministry. We'll get into that.
Great Labosco.
Challenge.
Our Labosco. What are you doing to St. Menzies Laboni?
Asante Bedieto removed as executive secretary, appointed ambassador at large. Blair confirms his son put in a bid of $200 million to acquire Snit Hotels but was refused. And the Minerals Commission debunks false claims against lands minister, says every concession granted foreign entities are done with proper consultation. Finally, NDC Gender Committee tours Esikado, Shama areas. The committee assures residents change is coming.
Daybreak Newspaper says running mate for the MPP. It's Napo makes high leap again. Also, a military hospital ready in August. The contractor, we're told, has been paid. And December elections, no way for vigilantes. President Akufo-Addo talking there. And in terms of the CPP politics, no candidate for CPP. Sapong Soprano is hinting here on the front page.
All right.
Finally, for me, the BNFT on debt restructuring agreements with private creditors secured. $4.7 billion in debt relief, $4.4 billion in cash flow relief during IMF program period.
Okay, let me take you to the Enquirer, the Business Analyst, and the Daily Post. If you go to the Daily Post, they say Ghana now for sale. Baumier's advisor also takes over prime land in Accra belonging to Ghana prisons. That's Ablakwa, the Honorable Ablakwa revealing that according to the paper. There are some other stories. You are celebrating bankruptcy status. Abdongo is berating the finance minister. If you go to the Enquirer, inside Ghana's migrant trade, Nigerians hijack, rip up phone accessories business, Sleepy GIS, MMDCs, Motis in action, rob GRA of billions. Also, more trouble for junketing clerk as parliamentary staff demand list expenses on all foreign trips by Cyril Kwabena. Oh, Charlie, they are going after the clerk. Kwabena.
My concern is, why are the headlines so long? Someone said they want to tell you everything before you read the story.
That's right. And then finally, though, if you go to the Business Analyst, Fish Solutions is revising Ghana's real growth rate in 2024 to 4.3%.
Okay.
And then one other story here that says we've put in place systems to ensure export proceeds return home. This according to the BOG.
Well, let me give you a few more headlines. CityNewsroom.com. Ghana's economy will surprise the world this year. Adam says so.
Meaning what?
It's a best surprise. I like the headline. Ghana's economy was surprising. You know,
have we not seen enough surprises? This guy.
But this is nice. I like it. Now, election 2024, I'll do everything possible to ensure free and fair poll. The president says this. Now, let me give you a few headlines you haven't heard so far. Auction of 4G spectrum collapse self-line other broadband providers. This is Esla saying this.
Okay.
In other stories, family petitions GS to probe assault. You read the story already. Suspension of Form 3 students at Laboni SHS. And then testify under oath if you have nothing to hide. Edu Jide's Attorney General. In other stories, Asante Bedioto appointed ambassador at large. He's at large.
Okay.
And then don't promise what you cannot do. Hawa Kumsen, forgive me, tells Mahama. If I take you to my journal online, it's the same headline. Ghana's economy is set to astonish the world this year. Finance Minister.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there are a few cases that the Jura strike has affected. They list 4. In other stories, next NDC government to spend $500 million on fight against illegal mining.
Okay.
That's also on my journal online. And then, as we heard, Alam pledges to cancel or abolish Council of State. All right, let's pick some of the key stories. And
Okay.
Well, I'll give you one more story here. GNA, Ghana's old polluting cars are killing people silently, according to experts. I'll read that story for you later during the review. Let's start with Nathan.
Okay, let's go to
The Finder.
the new Finder, and they are starting on the economy. And they say $15 billion saved and deferred.
Okay.
Elvis Dakon writes for the paper, and it says principal and interest either cancelled or payment deferred in the government's debt restructuring exercise amounts to over $15 billion, which is about 225 billion cedis. This is the result of the completion of 3 major debt restructuring operations: domestic debt restructuring, external bilateral debt restructuring, and commercial bondholders debt restructuring.
That's the latest one.
Yes. It goes on to say the restructuring of a $13.1 billion in terms of Eurobond debts resulted in significant savings, cancellation of $4.7 billion, involving a 37% effective nominal haircut, an increase from the initial 33% offer. Now, the paper goes on to give more details on all of these. On the
Now,
amount.
Sky,
I want to
stay
plug
with
into
that
that.
because I want Nathan to also deal with something for me here.
Okay. Well, the president is saying that stall projects to resume soon, plugging into what Nathan just read. Max Olofori, reporting from the Jubilee House, says in the Chronicle this morning that the President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has announced that most of the projects being executed by his government but have currently been stalled because of the negotiations with Ghana's international creditors will soon restart or resume.
Did they list the projects? It would be nice to know the debt exchange and combat projects and which ones will start so we can start enjoying the roads.
So these projects, the president said, will include improvements in healthcare, education, transportation, and other essential sectors. And they are vital for Ghana's progress and development. Though the president did not mention any specific projects, Ghanaians may have observed, among others, that there are many interchanges ongoing across the country, which works were halted due to financial constraints. There is an ongoing interchange project at Swame, Kumasi, Tamale, and Takrady, among others.
All
Not
of
far
which
away
have
from-
stalled because of the debt exchange.
And
So
then also
maybe the specific
agenda
ministries
111.
can tell us which roads will be released. Still in the economy.
Still in the economy, page 4 of the new Finder, the government successfully raised 3.6 billion cedis last week, surpassing its target of 3.55 billion and achieving an oversubscription rate of 1.3%.
Okay.
This was driven by a surge in investor demand for treasury bills compared to the previous week's auction. All bids for the 91-day, 182-day, 364-day treasury bills were fully accepted in last Friday's auction. Now, on the other hand, on the currency markets, the cedi weakened against the dollar, pound sterling, and the euro during the review week.
Still?
The cedi depreciated by 1.01%, 0.69%, and 0.96% against the dollar, pound, and euro, respectively. The cedi closed the midweek trading at a mid-rate of 14.44 or 14.45, if you like, to the dollar, 18.26 to the pound, and 15.44 to to the euro.
Okay.
Now,
Staying
I
with
want
the
you
economy.
to stay with the economy, Sky, and after that, Nathan will take us into some school feeding issues.
Okay, the business analyst has a story that says we put in place systems to ensure export proceeds return home.
Very important.
Now, the Bank of Ghana has put in place a system to ensure that exporters repatriate export proceeds back into the country. Now, the move is to ensure that Ghana gets a bulk of the export receipts to help shore up the value of the cedi. Now, speaking at a recent Monetary Policy Committee press conference, Governor Dr. Addison said all exporters are required to fill out a letter of commitment associated with their exports.
All right. Now, meanwhile, Finance Minister has been criticized by ranking member of the Finance Committee, Adongo, who is basically criticizing Dr. Amin Adam, claiming that the current government has outperformed the NDC. In an interview on Joy FM's Top Story on Monday, as Adongo expressed his shock at the minister's celebration of what he described as a bankrupt status. You are celebrating the fact that you've received a certificate that clearly declares you as a bankrupt country. Who celebrates a bankrupt certificate? Who celebrates the fact that it is now clear and crystal that you are a man of straw and cannot pay your debt? And you are now saying that on the basis of this bankrupt status that you are better than the previous government. How does that make you better? This is the Bogatanga Central MP commenting after Dr. Amin Adam expressed confidence that the government had outperformed the NDC on economic metrics. This is basically after the debt relief was announced.
But now let's stay within the space of money issues. Now, if you go to the Chronicle, page 7 has the story. Ghana Gas owes GMPC $604 million as of the end of December 2023. Now, it has been established that Ghana National Gas Company Limited received a total volume of 35,690.20 cubic feet of raw gas from the Jubilee and 10 fields in 2003 as compared to 29,000 in 2022. This translates into a reduction of 10%. Now, the company overall is indebted to the GMPC to the tune of 604 million and 51,000 US dollars. Now, it goes on to provide details. And Bernard, you know, recently we had some issues with the Nigerians. And there have been concerns that if we don't pay the debt, these guys might turn off the tap, and that would affect us. I don't know why.
So Ghana Gas owes GMPC how much?
$604 million. I don't know how they keep piling up debt. Is it that we are not paying? Why? What's going on?
The whole energy sector is just crazy. It's now a finance issue. Issues of leverage, how much can be borrowed. It's a massive issue and it's been there for years. Let's continue with other stories.
Yes, if you go to the BNFT page 2, it says a recent Auditor General's report has revealed alarming practices within the Ghana school feeding program, exposing that many or highlighting that many caterers are using substandard food items to prepare meals for students. This revelation raises serious concerns over the nutritional quality and safety of meals provided to school children across the country amid continuous threats and demonstrations from dissatisfied caterers over delayed amounts. Now, following the confirmation by the Ghana Interbank Payment and Settlement System in October 2018 of an amount of 2.5 million cedi overpayment to some caterers, the Auditor General's report dated 20th June 2019 reveals that MMDAs could not account for 899,617 cedis from catering application form sales, including the loss of 141,000 due to inflated enrollment figures and data manipulation in the Setre East District.
Charlie, this is terrible. All right, let me take you to the court issues. So, jurors are on strike and it's affecting a number of cases. A couple of websites are reporting on this. You go to my Joy Online, they've sort of analyzed 4 high-profile cases which have stalled over the industrial action. Now, these include the case involving 11-year-old Kasua boy murder case. Then there's the JB Damka murder trial, which has been going on since forever. The Gregory Afoko trial. And then the Abesim murder of a 28-year-old architect alleged to have murdered 2 children. So, still on the issues of court, ambulance case, the Edwin Tamaklo is daring the Attorney General to testify under oath if he has nothing to hide. This follows the Attorney General's comments in London, basically seeking to criticize the NDC. So let's start with that one and I'll bring you the response.
Okay. So page 3 of the Daily Guide, NDC lies deceit exposed. That's Godfrey Dami speaking. And the Attorney General, Godfrey Dami, has stated that the cross-examination of Richard Jakra, the third accused in the €2.37 million ambulance procurement case has exposed the NDC's lies and deceit. The NDC, led by its national chairman Johnson Asiedun Keti, accused the AG of witch hunting when Japa alleged in court that Godfrey Dami had repeatedly sought his assistance in incriminating Dr. Kesela to forcing in the ongoing trial. However, during a town hall meeting with some Ghanaian residents in the UK, Mr. Dami stated that, quote, he said that the NDC's, quote, lies, deceptions, and deceit, end quote, had been exposed.
Meanwhile, the head of legal affairs of NDC, Edwin Tamaklo, has challenged the Attorney General to take the witness stand in the ongoing ambulance trial. In an interview on Eyewitness News, Edwin Tamaklo stated that if the Attorney General had nothing to hide, he should testify under oath in relation to the meeting.
Still in court, before I take you to Alan, the Ghanaian Times has a story: accused transferred to prison custody, Kaswa ritual murder case. Now, Malik Suleiman reporting says one of the two accused standing trial for conspiracy and murder of Ismail Mensa Abdullah in Kaswa in the central region in 2021 has been transferred from the Usu police cells to prison custody. Now, this was after the High Court Accra issued a warrant for the 18-year-old accused person to attend proceedings from the Nsawan prison.
Alan says he will abolish Council of State. He's also launched his GTP.
Yep. So I have a big plan for Ghana. Jennifer Amboli reporting in the Chronicle says this morning that Alan Chamanting, leader of the Movement of Change and the independent presidential candidate for the 2024 general elections, has officially unveiled an ambitious and comprehensive action plan aimed at transforming Ghana's socio-economic landscape. Now, the plan, that the Great Transformational Plan, is it the same thing?
GTP.
Yeah, which he announced earlier in the year, is a visionary policy framework that seeks to propel Ghana into a new era of sustainable development with a tangible impact on the people's lives.
He was also wearing GTP when
Yes.
he launched the plan.
Yeah, okay.
Quick one here. Minister for Communications says the auction of 4G spectrum collapsed Selfline and other broadband providers. This was an interview yesterday. The Minister for Communication and Digitalization, Esla Usu, has attributed the collapse of broadband service providers such as Selfline to the decision to auction the 4G spectrum to mobile networks, particularly MTN. She said the auction gave an undue advantage to the mobile operators to the detriment of the broadband operators. She was speaking on the City Breakfast Show yesterday.
If you go to page 2 of the anchor, assault at Laboni SHS, housemaster detained students in his office for hours. The story says the Ghana Education Service has been petitioned to investigate an alleged physical assault on a final year student, Abraham Sambu, by the senior house master of the school, Mr. Eric Ajiman, also known as Power. A formal petition by Sambu's family addressed to the DG of the GES alleges that on Tuesday, June 18, 2024, the senior house master slapped the award after he was falsely accused by the school prefect Blessing Elisha Nyamiche of using a mobile phone and refusing to hand it over. But Sambu, who denied the allegations, was subsequently prevented from attending classes and detained in the senior housemaster's office for hours without food or water until 2 p.m. when his family arrived to meet with the school management. The petition, cited by the anchor dated June 22, 2024, further revealed that following the incident, Sambu, who was traumatized, was indefinitely expelled from the boarding house without due process.
Yeah, you missed something. When you read the president's story about the projects,
Stall projects, okay.
he also directed the Ministry of Finance to release 1.5 billion cedis to customers of the defunct banks.
Okay.
Remember, those guys have been quite
protesting. Huh?
So when the minister announced the decision in London, he also said that the president had asked that they make that the amount available. You know that licenses were revoked. A number of people said their monies had been impaired and all of those things. So basically, locked up funds of some customers of defunct banks and investment institutions. 1.5 billion has been released. We don't know the modality for the distribution, but in as much as we've been following a lot this story, I thought it was important to mention that as well.
And quickly, Bernard, let me just plug into the education thing you read. If you go to page 9 of the Daybreak newspaper, there's a story there that says Yamfo Anglican Senior High School teachers stay off campus over inadequate accommodation. Now, the Yamfo Anglican Senior High School in the Tano North municipality of the Ahafo region continues to struggle with infrastructure deficit, particularly in staff accommodation, a boys' dormitory, and a place of convenience. Now, the school needs a spacious dormitory for its male students, and the lack of adequate staff housing forces most teachers to live off campus, making it difficult to effectively supervise the over 1,000 students.
And finally, a historic royal visit. This on page 13 of the Daily Graphic. Gonja and Dagbon overlords forge unity and cooperation. The story says the overlord of the Gonja kingdom, Yagbonra Kunuto Jewu Swali I has embarked on a historic visit to the overlord of Dagbon, Yana Bukari II, at the Bewa Palace in Yendi in the northern region. The meeting of the traditional leaders last Sunday underscores a burgeoning era of unity, cooperation, and cultural renaissance in northern Ghana.
We'll leave it here. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Richard. Coming up next is the Citi Business News.
Do you have a game-changing and innovative business idea or project that can impact the society? This is your moment. Total Energies presents the 4th edition of the Startup of the Year Challenge. This year, we are looking for 3 winners. The best entrepreneur, also called the InnovUp winner. The best project or innovative business idea that exemplifies the principle of
biggest conversation.
Citi Business News brought to you by MTN, Access Bank and Goyle. Nashi Cassis has the details. Good morning.
Good morning, Bernard. Hello and welcome to the breakfast edition of the Citi Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goyle and Access Bank. My name is Nashika Caesar. Coming up, Securities and Exchange Commission direct customers of fund management companies affected by revocation of licenses to submit their claims by July 9. Also coming up, Bank of Ghana justifies revocation of license of GN Bank, insisting the action was warranted due to significant regulatory breaches. And later, Minerals Commission debunks claims that government granting mining concessions to foreigners without proper consultation. The details now. The Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) is calling on customers of fund management companies affected by the revocation of licenses to submit their claims by Tuesday, July 9, 2024. This comes on the back of a recent voluntary bailout package of 1.5 billion Ghana cedis by the government to support customers who were hit by the banking sector cleanup. In a public notice issued by the SEC, urged eligible customers to submit their claims via the email at ghfundsmanagement@pwc.com to ensure that they receive the government bailout based on their validated claims. Now, the Bank of Ghana BUG has reiterated its stance in the revocation of the license of GN Bank in 2019, insisting that the action was warranted due to significant regulatory breaches. The central bank maintains that GN Bank failed to comply with critical financial regulations and banking standards, which threatened its operational stability. This comes after the owner of the defunct GN Bank recently issued a passionate appeal to Dr. Ernest Addison, the governor of the Bank of Ghana, to consider new evidence and reinstate the bank's license, which was revoked due to alleged insolvency. The Bank of Ghana insists it cannot restore the license of GN Bank as demanded by its management. Referring to a statement issued in August 2019 detailing reasons for the revocation, the central bank said GN Bank fell short of capital adequacy, liquidity and governance and risk management requirement. GN Bank consistently failed to meet the minimum capital requirement, raising concerns about its ability to absorb losses and protect depositors. It also struggled with liquidity management, which affected its capacity to meet withdrawal demands from customers. President Akufo-Addo has directed the Ministry of Finance to disburse 1.5 billion Ghana cedis to customers affected by the banking sector cleanup. The BOG closed 5 banks and other financial institutions in August 2018 for violating banking regulations. The banking sector cleanup exercise cost the economy close to 20 billion Ghana cedis. Some of the banks affected included the Royal Bank, Beige Bank, Sovereign Bank and Construction Bank, which were later merged into the Consolidated Bank Ghana. Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam confirmed during a recent town hall in the United Kingdom that measures are in place to distribute the funds no later than October this year. To some other stories, government and representatives of bondholders have reached an agreement in principle on the restructuring of the country's Eurobonds. This development is set to ease Ghana's financial burdens and is a key step towards securing approval from the International Monetary Fund (IMF) for the second review of its economic program. The following business report looks at what comes next for Ghana after this agreement.
Bondholders have 2 options under the agreement: either to accept discounted bonds with reduced interest and maturity dates between 2026 and 2029, resulting in a 37% reduction in value, or they can choose new bonds sold at the original face value, capped at $1.6 billion. The second option includes 3 types of bonds, with the main one paying 1.5% interest and maturing in 2037, though past due interest will be adjusted. For Ghana, this agreement means significant financial relief. Bondholders are expected to forgo about $4.7 billion, providing the government with an estimated $4.4 billion in cash flow relief during the IMF program period. The International Steering Committee of Bondholders, who hold 40% of Ghana's external debt, and the Regional Steering Committee, who hold 15%, have asserted that the agreement matches the parameters set by the IMF. In the coming weeks, government will start a consent solicitation process to get approval from individual bondholders. This will be followed by a formal launch once the final documents are ready. The new deal also requires government to publish public debt information every 6 months to assure bondholders of transparency and to ensure fair treatment among creditors. These steps lead up to the IMF board meeting scheduled for June 28, where the board will review the staff's assessment of the bondholder agreement. The approval of the second review of Ghana's economic program will depend on this assessment.
Edna Agnes Wachi with that report there. Now, the Managing Director of ARB Apex Bank, Alex Area, is committed to ensure that rural and community banks capitalized on the newly adopted over-the-counter trading platform by the Ghana Stock Exchange. The platform allows trading of securities not listed on the exchange, enabling small and medium enterprises to raise capital. Here's more.
Business owners are urged to utilize this platform to secure funding for their ventures. Designed to expand Ghana's capital market, the platform aims to attract rural and community banks, thereby enhancing banking operations and offering investors more opportunities. Abna Moa serves as the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Stock Exchange.
Our efforts to bring together the first regulated platform trading in public securities that are not listed on the stock exchange is what has brought us here today. We want to provide a structured, transparent, and efficient platform for trading of these securities because it will afford unlisted public companies visibility, trading opportunities, transparency, and ease for their investors to transact, buy more, or sell these securities.
For his part, the Managing Director of ARB Apex Bank stressed his readiness to incentivize rural and community banks to join.
It's going to provide an avenue for more confidence in our institutions, and shares of rural banks can be traded. They can be more liquid. The banks can use this as an avenue to raise capital to expand the operations. And so we're excited at ARB Apex Bank, and on our part, we'll do our possible best to ensure that as many of our member banks get onto this trading market so that it can help us to move our institutions forward.
You heard the Managing Director of ARB Apex Bank, Alex Iwia, ending that report filed by my colleague Daniel Odu-Mensah. Now, the Minerals Commission has refuted claims by the Member of Parliament for Bole Bamboy, Yusuf Sulemana, suggesting the Commission and the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources granted mining concessions to foreigners without proper consultations. The Commission has said that all mineral rights are granted following extensive consultations in accordance with the Minerals and Mining Act, and that only 4 large-scale mining companies hold concessions in the said constituency, 2 of which are wholly Ghanaian-owned. The Commission emphasized that these licenses are for exploration, not mining, and reiterated its commitment to transparency and stakeholder engagement. Now, the use of shipping containers for shops and other commercial purposes has undoubtedly become extremely popular in Ghana. Many small businesses and startup companies are resorting to the use of shipping containers to house their business operations. As the demand for these containers soars, it is also creating employment opportunities for many. We have more.
Shipping containers have become extremely popular options for small businesses. Small retail businesses are finding great use for them by converting these shipping containers into offices, restaurants, salons, barber shops, boutiques, and more. But why is there a growing preference for containers over block shops? These business owners have the answers.
Here, depend on the location, will determine the price. But now it's more expensive than back then. So, me and my wife, we decided, okay, we should start something. So I started looking for a land. So I was working at the back there.
While the demand for shipping containers have also created a value chain, it has created job opportunities for people like Thomas Ejiri, who has been producing locally manufactured containers for 20 years.
The one coming from the foreign, that one is better than the one we do it here, because that one is not rusting. And then secondly, if you wanted to use that one is cost high than this one. For instance, if I wanted to make a container for a store, I cannot go and buy the imported one, because maybe I have to use maybe about 40,000, 50,000 to buy that one.
That's how much they sell it?
Yes. It depends. We can use like 30,000, 40,000.
For which of the foods container?
40 feet and then 20 feet. Right now, 40 feet can cost like 50,000 as we are speaking right now. But maybe the 20 feet can cost about 25, 30. And then this one, if you have like maybe 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, you can do any size you want to do it.
John Addo also makes a living by working on shipping containers to convert them into offices, and he says the venture is quite lucrative.
So these containers, what do they use it for? Are they going to be used as offices or shops, or what, do you know what?
Yeah, office. They are going to use as office. At the same time, it's a workshop. Oh, normally we finish this, the white ones we finish, we divide it. They have the shop and the office inside. Yeah.
So how long does it take to work on the container like this?
This one is 40 feet. Oh, okay. So this one like this, 5 days.
Moving on, small and medium-sized enterprises have been urged to have structured human resource management processes to enhance organizational growth and development. According to Dr. Francis Eduku, Chief Executive Officer of the Chartered Institute of Human Resource Management, this also ensures profitability through effective cost management. Speaking on the second day of the final week of the City Business Festival 2024 Honor Series, Francis Eduku said, in a workplace of diversified employees, human resource management is essential to manage performances in order to reach the preset objective of the business.
Human resource management is very critical because every organization will talk about people. It's the people who transform the organization processes, create value, and the products that is eventually turn out into money. It's not the machines, because if the people don't operate or drive the machines alone cannot create value. So that makes human resource management very, very important. But with a link to SMEs, as people are the backbone to every organization, SMEs are also the backbone to any economy through job creation and economic growth. But when you pick the human resource dimension, which now drives the value for the business, if SMEs have proper HR processes, right from recruitment, selection, performance management, reward, and motivation, then they will create more value for their organizations. But more often than not, you see most SMEs operating at the informal level where they don't have structured HR processes. For some, people are even recruited before they prepare job descriptions.
Francis Adiku is the CEO of the HR Chartered Institute of HR Management. The full conversation with Francis Adiku on the topic Understanding HR Management for SMEs is later this morning at 9 on the City Breakfast Show. The City Business Festival 2024 is powered by 97.3 Citi FM and Channel 1 TV in partnership with Absa Bank and is sponsored by MTN Business, Gesell, AMG Fertilizer, and Sano Limited and Agri Impact Limited. And that's it for the breakfast edition of the City Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goil, and Access Bank. My name is Nashika Caesar. Do have a great business day.
Beautiful people, we are live in town, soaking in the excitement about the partnership between Access Bank and PABS, revolutionizing the way people move money across Africa. Let's hear directly from those reaping the benefits.
It's a relief. Anytime I send money back home, my family receives exactly what I send them, instantly.
I'm studying in Ghana, but originally from Nigeria. With this service, my parents send my school and hostel fees directly, and they do it with so much ease.
I run a fashion business. Let me tell you, sending and receiving money across Africa without those annoying forex fees has really cut down our operational costs.
Benefit from instant payments across Africa with zero foreign exchange hassle. Visit our website www.ghana.accessbankplc.com or call our toll free on 0800 004400 for all your cross-border payments.
Pass it with Access Bank.
Access Bank, more than banking.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
Join the conversation on the City Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag CityCBS.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
15 minutes past 7. You heard the City Business News with Nashika Caesar, brought to you by Access Bank. Let's help you check your dream locations off your bucket list. Make your travel dreams a reality with Access Bank. So our aviation and hospitality desk is designed with you in mind. Let's help you book and pay for tickets, secure travel insurance, and enjoy our Fly Now, Pay Later short-term loan facility. So whether it's a tropical escape or a visit to a family, Access Bank has covered you. Avoid the hassle. Book your next flight with Emirates, South African Airways, Air Peace, or Africa World Airlines through Access Bank. Our 55-branch network gives you convenience, easy payments, and security. Go to accessbankplc.com for more information. That's Ghana.accessbankplc.com accessbankplc.com or call toll-free 0800 004400. Access Bank, more than banking. You can live seamlessly with MTN's eSIM. No need to carry multiple phones around, because with MTN eSIM, you can have multiple numbers linked to just one smartphone. Dial *06#, check your phone's eligibility, download my MTN app, or visit the MTN website to request your eSIM. Go seamless with MTN's eSIM for convenience and seamless connectivity. Kickoff is next with Telecel. Actually, it's next with Lesheho. And if you're ready to power up your finances and unlock your path to prosperity, this is the time to deal with Lesheho's fixed deposit solution, your best option in growing wealth. Join the investment revolution with our fixed deposit solution and take charge of your financial future. Call 027 004 0799 or send WhatsApp on 027 004 0733. Lesheho, let's just throw this out there again. So I said this earlier and I want to repeat it. So I'm on a platform where we get weather reports, and it's been raining every day, at least for the past 3 weeks. And I get 2 or 3 reports. There's one which is a national report, and I get one which is on the Volta Lake. So I can tell you that it's been raining on that lake quite seriously for the past few weeks. Okay, that suggests that the water level is rising. So the question I ask is, what plans are we putting in place? We don't want to get to another stage where they have to do a spillage and everybody is running helter-skelter, and then we are going to raise money for flood victims. We need to learn from history. So I'm just putting it out there. Those who are monitoring the lake, they should monitor it well. If they have something to do, they should start doing it quickly before it reaches any. So basically, VRA, I'm just saying to you, look, whatever you want to do, let the public be well informed.
It's very important. Yes. Let me add, though, that I'm so disappointed that as we speak, no institution of state capable of protecting the interests of the Ghanaian has found it necessary to look into exactly what happened in 2023. So that so many thousands of people, in excess of 40 or so thousand, both upstream and downstream, lost either their homes, businesses, or farms to water released from the dam or the storage of water in the dam, which has caused people to lose so much money, everything they've worked for the past God knows when. And yet we are seated in this country. The parliament that we have, they call themselves honorable members of our jurisdiction. So far, nothing has been done. We have Shiraj. Nothing has been done. We have the courts. We have not had any action to that effect. And it is as if people's livelihoods don't matter. And here we are paying the price for the high cost of, the price of tomatoes up. Food prices are going up because so many people lost their farms, going to the markets. Buying fish these days is now a very expensive venture.
Are you tracing the food price hikes to the Akosombo spillage?
It may well be part of the problem. This is to a large extent anecdotal. But Bernard, if you look at it critically, when did this thing happen? Sometime about 3 or so months.
September 2023.
Exactly.
The 15th that the spillage occurred.
Yes.
And it started slowly, and then by October, it became quite serious. So we were called in October. So it had been a month of spillage. And then we know there were about 10 constituencies downstream. So it's Sojaman, then you had Shai Osudoku, you had Ada, and then you had North Tong, South Tong, Central Tong, and then you also had Keta and Angono. They were all affected by the flood.
Ketu South also.
Yes, and then of course, when the spillage was reduced, those who were upstream also started having problems because the water was a lot. So these guys, for me, I'm not holding brief, but I just feel like it's a very complicated situation.
Yeah, but Bernard, my point,
in the sense that you notice that your relief was for both those who were downstream and upstream.
Yes.
That tells you that the flow. How do I put it? The people downstream were suffering because of the spillage, but the people upstream were also suffering because of not enough spillage.
Yes.
Do you understand my point?
Yes,
so it's quite complicated to know whether there was an optimal level they should have spilled.
Bernard, that is what a responsible state has got to investigate.
Okay.
Because you don't allow in excess of 40 or so thousand of your citizens to lose everything they have worked for decades. And then we are back to square one. We are back like, everybody is happy. Okay, Citi FM and many other listeners decided to support the people. They have a place to lay their heads now. Hospitals have been built. Homes have been built. Markets have been built.
So you want an inquest?
That is what we have got to do. Because here you are telling me that you are on a platform. It's been raining for the past 3 weeks in the western and then the northern part of Accra. We expect that it would have impact on the Akosombo Dam water levels. Now, we have not learned, most likely, from what happened in 2023. Or if we have learned anything at all, we have not told the public that, these were the things we did wrong. These were the things that we did right.
For that, I agree with you that, there must be some inquest which would then give us the reasons why we got where we got to, for which then the whole public can learn. And I think in this country, there's no accountability. I think that's the issue where we only pick and choose what to pursue. And even when we do like these audits, we just use it for political points or just to make a case. Because a society that is determined to improve upon itself will say, look, this oughtn't have happened in the first place. What could we have done to improve this? And this will not be something VRA keeps to itself. This will be something that maybe the parliament invites them. They have a full probe, and then they do like a hearing. They get the VRA officials to come in. They call the NADMO officials to testify before the committee. The committee will then write a report, and the committee will then make a strong recommendation for specific things to be done. So, for example, the committee could even look into the so-called shelters to see how appropriate they are, because you don't want to repeat. And as I'm talking to you, because the water level is rising, we may well have another spillage on our hands. And I don't want to alarm anybody, but for me, I'm just looking at the volume of rain. You can ask the Metropole. It's been raining quite a lot these days, particularly up north. So a society that is determined to improve and not repeat mistakes will at least have a report that will say, oh, here is a report that the VRA, that the parliament has done after speaking to VRA, after speaking to NADMO and that's district assemblies and the MPs in the area and some of the affected people. And then they'll use that to inform policy that next time there's going to be a spillage, this is the series of activities that they must do. Here are the protocols they must follow. And then they may even vote some money to say, we are going to build new flood relief shelters. Like something. But in Ghana, it's almost like the thing has happened. People have come around, media has rallied, we build some shelters, we all go back to sleep, waiting for the next one. Now, that is not a society that is determined to do better. And I think that you're right. Parliament ought to have poked its nose into this matter. And it's not too late. It's not too late, because at least a hearing, you see, the oxygen of a democracy is the media. When you put a hearing on television, we all watch and learn. They ask questions. Why did this happen? Is this the best way to have done it? Call an expert. Is the dam secure? How much volume of rain can compromise the dam? So you can even start planning for further. How will this affect the Pualugu Dam? If the Pualugu Dam has been built, would it have helped to ease the level of pressure? Because you see, for me, what I say is that the amount of water we have, fresh water we have in Ghana, most West African countries don't have it. Managing that is a joint responsibility. Okay, so the Pualugu Dam, we did a story. The most important story was that, the minority people went there, they didn't see anything. Big story. 2 weeks, we've gone and left it. Okay. So it's not like we are really seeking to solve the problem. We are looking more like using the problem to score some political points here and there, and then we move to the next scandal. And that's not a very good way of living. So just as an opening this morning, I think Sky has convinced me, Parliament ought to look into the whole management of the Volta Basin again, and then find a way of preventing another disaster. Speaking of which, we are sitting on a disaster. Yesterday there was a story about cocoa farmers saying that they had lost most of their farms to Galamsey, and it doesn't seem to register on the radar. There doesn't seem to be any interest anywhere. I don't know whether it's because of elections. President said to us he will sacrifice his election or something. He said something to that effect. He hasn't done it. And as we speak, his former environment minister, who was supposed to be in charge of the fight against Galamsey, has resigned, or he was not reappointed.
Not reappointed.
And when I interviewed him, he said the next president of Ghana needs to take this fight serious, because it's like the Galamsey thing is going to destroy the country. Water we drink, farming, cocoa, income,
health,
it's
everything.
just, there are people being born in communities with deformities. And because we are not a reflective society, we are all just moving on with our lives. And then in 10 years' time, kids born will have all these challenges because the leaders went to sleep on their job. And I really think that this government needs to step up. On the Galamsey fight, they've been completely disappointed. I mean, on many things they've been, but on the Galamsey fight, it's been a betrayal, a massive betrayal, to allow, to the extent that even cocoa board, for the first time in about 5 years, our cocoa didn't reach even 70% of expected output. Cocoa farms are being forcibly taken by people. It's almost like we're in a jungle out there. It's terrible. It's terrible.
What is disappointing is that, look, you have our constitution tell our president that these resources are held in trust. He will be holding it in trust for the people. So everywhere you have a natural resource, be it gold, diamond, whatever, the things that the people are stealing. Basically, Galamsey is about stealing our natural resources and selling it for cheap or for whatever rate, and then pocketing the money yourself or sharing with people who are active players in this illegal trade. But you sit in a country where the constitution says clearly that it's the president's responsibility to protect these resources. You have a big promise made by the president that he was putting his presidency on the line to ensure that we dealt with this problem. Look at where we are as a country.
It's terrible.
It is such a monumental failure of a president to allow the kind of horrors we continue to see.
It's terrible.
That people from his party will openly encourage citizens to beat up soldiers.
Yeah.
If they dare, yes. And you see what happened in the Bole area recently.
Yeah.
Where soldiers reportedly went to an area, there was altercation, party people were beaten, soldiers were beaten, all kinds of things happened.
Over mining.
Over mining, not mining, illegal mining. Illegal mining.
But we have a government in the country.
The government clearly on this matter is not fit for purpose.
We have a government. I mean, think about it. We have police, we have soldiers, we have immigration, we have fire service, we have prisons, we have all these people who are paid with taxpayers' money, and you have people who are going to cocoa farms to forcibly either flood a farm or take. In fact, there was a couple of reports on this. Fred, if you can get it for me, they go to a farm and they either tell you they'll give you a price to sell the farm to them, or they will flood the farm with water.
Yeah.
All right, and we know this is happening. The media has reported this countless times. It's not. Even, I think Parliament has given up. The president has given up. Everybody is just watching. I mean, it's like we are just waiting. Like, you know.
So what happened to the big things the president said about it?
It's called dereliction.
About his putting of his own presidency on the line.
But his presidency is finished. He doesn't have any presidency. He doesn't have anything else to put on the line.
But when he said it, this was many years ago when the presidency was still fresh. So what happened? Did he lose interest very quickly? Or he was overwhelmed? He looked on unconcerned?
I'll come to, it's a very good question. I just wanted to say that we have to find new ways of making old issues topical.
That's it.
We have to find, and listeners, you may have to forgive us if we keep going back to certain things, because there's nothing else we can do, right? Unless you get me, because we have seen a major attack on our ecology. And you have a government that's essentially not concerned because it's thinking about votes. And I also want Ghanaians to punish. For me, one of the reasons why politicians do these things is because somehow they have this impression that people will. It's almost like we are not collectively wise enough to vote for good judgment. So votes are purely based on the selfish interest of greedy people. Do you understand? So it's almost like, well, we can't touch Galamsey because the people there will vote against us. Are you telling me that those of us who call into the radio stations who claim that Galamsey is bad are not more than the people who destroy the environment?
Of course.
You get it? So isn't it a dereliction for a politician to say that because of vote I won't do this or that or the other? Then it's an indictment on our collective conscience, because they are basically saying that the people of Ghana are not wise enough to know that destroying our water bodies, destroying our forests, mining in forest reserves is what Ghanaians want, and therefore we'll give it to them. Are we that foolish? Is that how the government sees us? That we don't have common sense to know? We've reported that in Galamsey communities now children are being bombed with deformities. Yeah. We are eating vegetables with arsenic and mercury. All right? We are having a water crisis on our hands. And the most glaring evidence is that your cocoa output has reduced. You got less than 600,000 metric tons. What do they discuss in cabinet? When the health minister, the guy in charge of cocoa, and those guys, when they go, what do they say? I want to know. It's like, do they read the newspapers? Do they know what's happening in Ghana? So tomorrow, they call it tomorrow next, it's Thursday. When they go to cabinet, can't the health minister take slides from his health director and say, what is the condition of children born in this community? What's happening there? the water company people, to the Minister for Water. Do you get it? The cocoa people. Can't they say, if we don't do something about this, then, you understand? Are the Galamsey people so powerful that between health, water, sanitation, agric, all of these powerful people cannot say that we have to go and ban this thing and stop it? And they are all just sitting down watching because of votes? Yeah. How? What? I mean, what? How? What are you talking? You got me? And this is not a hidden thing. In fact, 2 days ago, in fact, yesterday headline, cocoa farmers said their cocoa farms had been taken over by Galamseyers. Yeah. This is on the front page of a major newspaper. You get me? So is it that people cannot, or is the Galamsey fight, do we need the IMF to help us? Or do we need experts from Russia? Maybe we need to go and get some people from China to come and help us solve Galamsey?
UN Security Council, I guess.
I don't understand it. For a sovereign state with a functioning government to allow this level of ecological disaster, not a word. I don't understand it. Parliament too doesn't seem to care.
Yeah, they're giving up.
How can you give up? Now, this morning, the Daily Graphic has published the water lake level, and I wanted to take you back to that place. So, the water level as of yesterday is 265.07 feet. All right? 265.07 feet. Sky, I have news for you.
Talk to me.
Last year, the water level was 264.77. Last year of the same day.
Hey.
So, the water, and I'm not trying to alarm anyone, I'm just mentioning to people, you see, the ecology, nature will always expose you if you disobey its rules. So whether it's Galamsey or water levels or flooding, water will find its level. So it's basically, if you disobey the rules of nature, nature will punish you. All right? It's not the devil. It's human behavior. So I'm just saying to you that today is 25th June. Yesterday, 24th June, the water level was 265.07 feet. All right? 265.07 feet. Last year, it was 264.77. So it's higher today than it was yesterday, last year.
That's so concerning.
2 feet. That was 23rd. A year ago to that date, it was 264.79. So the water level this week is more than it was last year this week. You get my point? And the rains are not over. And it seems to be raining more this year than it was last year. And we are in June. The spilling started in September. The minor rainy season. So I'm just saying that Parliament should issue a statement. VRE should be summoned. What are your plans? You see, this is how you anticipate. You were in Japan. We don't wait anything. Media is not just to cover history. You can also influence the future.
Yeah.
So today is 25th June. Don't let's sit down and wait. Then graphic on 6th August. Water level too high. We have to spill. Then we all run helter-skelter. No! Planning. If your level today is higher than it was last year, it just tells you that if things continue the same way they are, the problem will be bigger this year than it was last year. So what does a wise person do? You put in place contingency plan. Do you get it? Politicians rush to places after the fact. So when the spillage happens, president will go, candidates will go, we'll all go, because God has given you a brain to use to plan. So you need to call VRA to Parliament and say, VRA, the water level today is higher than it was last year. What is your expectation? Then you call Ghana Meteo Agency. What is the weather prognosis? Do you get it? Then you call NAM, what is your plan? Then you make sure if there's a contingency to say, if these things continue the way they are going, we may have to spill again. Therefore, let's make this arrangement. Let's allow people to, do you understand? That's what you do. But you wait, then when the thing happens, then you say, oh, the media is giving you a bad name. Your water level today is higher than it was a year ago. And a year ago, you spilled. And people were displaced. And the reason we are talking like this is that we're in the middle of the issue. We spent 3 months of airtime,
sleepless nights,
getting people shelters, hospitals, and things. So it's not like we are just sitting on the radio talking. We've gone to places we know. All right. So I'm just saying, between the executive, which minister is in charge of Akosombo Dam?
The Minister for Power, Energy.
Well, some energy ministry.
Yeah. For now, he's visiting chiefs and having pleasantries.
Ministry of Energy. I think this should be a joint. You know, the worst part. The worst part of all of this is that when the spillage occurred, the president announced an interministerial something.
Have you seen the report?
We haven't seen one. Sky, this is scandalous.
That's what I'm saying.
There's not even been like a proper report of the work, except when the information. The Kojo Nkrumah went to the community to launch something. Remember, he went to Bakba to launch some project.
Yes.
That's all we've seen.
Yes.
The announcement had about 8 ministers: local government, finance, works and housing, rural development.
Chief of staff inside.
Seriously, Ghana, we should not wait for disasters to strike. Water level as of this week is higher than it was a year ago.
And Bernard, when we went on the streets, one of the things we were told was that the VRA, for some reason, had not done the silting of major waterways.
Yes, the dam itself needs to be desilted.
Exactly. So while you are talking about the water level, it may also be impacted by the level of silt, if that is the correct term.
So if there's more silt, the water level rises faster.
Exactly. And then also, in terms of waterways downstream, in the area, the estuary areas and all of these areas,
they have to be opened up.
What is the plan? Have you seen any big earth moving equipment in the water removing the debris and whatever may be in the waterway? These are concrete plans that you need to put in place ahead of the major crisis that will hit us if we don't act now.
Gasaba. Do you know that cooking with firewood and charcoal can be as harmful to your lungs as smoking? That's right, it can cause heart disease, stroke, and even affects your eyesight in the long run. But don't worry, because the MPA is here to change that with the new cylinder recirculation model. With this fantastic initiative, you can easily switch to gas without the hassle. Visit any nearby exchange point and trade your empty cylinder for a filled one. No more long trips or waiting around to fill your gas. Smoke is harmful. That's why the gas has come. Message proudly brought So what is Citi saying? Water level today is higher than it was a year ago today. We are in June. We are entering July. Spillage started in September last year. Let VRA be summoned. Let the NADMO be summoned. Let there be thinking. let thinking prevail. Let's not wait for disaster to strike and start asking for donations. That's our call this morning. Galamsey, President, please don't allow your. I don't even know how to go there. The Galamsey menace is become such a blot on this country's conscience. Do something about it. Telecel is proud to be associated with tech and social media trends. You have everything you want and need: quick and reliable communication, stress-free money transactions via Telecel Cash, transforming your big business ideas into success stories with the Telecel Business and more. Connect with Telecel and enjoy a world of endless possibilities. With Telecel, there's no limit to your connections. Telecel, connecting energies. Also brought to you by First Bank Ghana. FBN Bank is now First Bank Ghana. That's right. FBN Bank is now First Bank Ghana. Stay tuned. Discover the new and exciting ways we're putting you first. First Bank Ghana is part of the First Bank Group that's 130 years strong. First Bank Ghana, you first. So Mr. Obodai is here.
Let's get into the trends. And Ambassador at Large is
trending.
It's trending.
Nana Asante Bediye too.
Yes, this follows the president's announcement that Nana Asante Bediye too is getting into he has a new position. He's Ambassador at Large.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Other things that are trending. #Baumia 2024 is also trending. Dr. Baumia every now and again, talks about his ambitions. Alan Trematin is also trending. Yesterday he rolled out his manifesto, and it has people talking on social. The gospel artist Yao Sapon is also trending. A few days ago there was a video of him. I think he granted an interview, and lots of things have emerged from that interview. He spoke about his relationship with his ex-wife. He said his wife has not been around for 20 years. Very crazy story. He said he was unwell. He's now getting better. On the sporting side, Doris Bredua is trending. Doris Bredua plays for the Black Queens. Yesterday, she announced that she was joining Hapoel Jerusalem. Hapoel Jerusalem. She used to play in Serbia, and now she's moving to Israel to continue her professional football journey. So those are some of the things trending there. Brazil is also trending. They drew goalless with Costa Rica in the Copa America. People are not happy at all. And so they are mentioning Ronaldinho. Now, last week or a few weeks ago, Ronaldinho said he was not excited by this current crop of Brazilian players. Rafinha said a few things in response, but Brazil have drawn goalless.
Didn't perform.
Now Ronaldinho. People are talking about Ronaldinho.
That's what Kenya said.
Anyway, to some tech news very quickly. Now, a group of major record labels in the US are suing 2 AI startups, alleging that they wrongfully used popular artists' work to train their AI to produce copyrighted music without their consent. Now, the Recording Industry Association of Ghana, a trade group on behalf of labels including Sony, UMG, and Warner Records, have filed 2 copyright infringement cases against Suno and Uncharted Labs, the 2 companies said to be at the center of this AI spat. Now, they said that these companies generated an AI song called BBL Drizzy. It went viral last month. And so these companies are saying that this is not right. You cannot generate, songs, and this infringes on copyright and on the hard work of artists and musicians they represent. So this is what is happening in the AI space. So, yeah. All kinds of interesting things.
That was second show media trends with Telecel and First Bank Ghana.
Going up? Yes.
After you.
No, you first.
No, please. I insist. You first.
I wouldn't dare, my friend. You first.
Beauty before brains, my friend. You first.
The honor would be mine. You first.
Oh, my word. And I hear they were there the whole day. Our employees take our You First philosophy to a whole new level. Get used to a bank that believes in putting you first. FBN Bank is now First Bank Ghana. First Bank Ghana. You first.
I send them, you get them. I get them, I send them.
I get them.
I pay them.
I get them. I take them.
You get them.
I send them.
I send them, you get them. I get them.
I buy them. I take them.
I pay them. I send them.
Telecel Cash.
Experience the ultimate convenience of sending money on Telecel Cash. Sending money from Telecel Cash to Telecel Cash is free. You can also make payments to merchants on all networks. Enjoy best value and total security with Telecel Cash.
Telecel. Connecting energies.
Join the conversation on the City Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag CityCBS.
I am Ohinere Gifty Auntie. You see, it always feels good when you receive that salary alert. I made a bold decision to invest a lump sum into the Old Mutual Retirement Salary Plan. And this means that I will get these alerts every month throughout retirement for the rest of my life. You too can retire on your own terms. So invest a lump sum in the Old Mutual Retirement Salary Plan today and enjoy guaranteed monthly income for life. Call Old Mutual on 050-453-4333 or visit oldmutual.com.gh to sign up today. Old Mutual, do great things every day.
Channel 1 TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on Channel 363. On GoTV, we're on Channel 117. And on HD+, get us on Channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search. But take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Channel 1 TV. Channel 1 TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box, like the DSTV and HD+ boxes. Channel 1 TV. Telling your story, empowering change.
Eid Mubarak. Celebrate this Eid al-Adha with joy, love, and the perfect gift from Samsung. This Eid, we are offering incredible discounts and bundle freebies on selected phones in the A-series in shops nationwide. Whether you are connecting with family far away or capturing precious moments from the celebration, we have the perfect phone at the perfect price. From stunning display to high-speed performance, these deals are too good to miss. Whether for yourself or for those you love, this Eid, give the gift of connection and technology. This year, with a change inside, so you can enjoy discount on the Samsung Galaxy A05 and A15, 100 and 150 CDs respectively. This offer is from 5th to 22nd June 2024. Samsung wishes you all Eid Mubarak.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
world's gone crazy.
The world gone crazy.
From the stables of Fix the Country.
Every day, guns
I know you love the song.
No, this is so conscious. I mean,
Roots
this,
rock reggae.
like Bernard. I hardly put on my headset.
Yes.
I mean the rhythm, the wedding, the lyrics, the tempo, everything just on point. This is solid.
I tell you,
solid reggae tune.
Turn on radio, it's murder.
The message is clear. The message is clear.
Cost of living is getting.
Time check 11 minutes past 8. Join the Purple Experience to explore the future of banking, which comes with First Atlantic Bank, the Digital Bank of the Year.
Money on military.
We have a number of banking platforms.
We're living on the edge.
Dial star 442# for your bank transactions, including the First Atlantic Bank Internet Banking, Corporate Pay, DigiPay, Master and Visa cards, and more. First Atlantic Bank, refreshingly different.
Guns blazing.
Deadel Spices bring you a straightforward flavor that's authentically natural for tasty meals. They are crafted carefully, ensuring every sprinkle bears with genuine taste made right here in Ghana. It isn't just seasoning, it's a helpful friend in the kitchen. For chop bars, noodle sellers, restaurants, and food vendors, Deadel Spices enhance any dish. Create tasty meals with Deadel for your customers and loved ones. It's time to elevate your flavors with Deadel Spice. Coming in 7-gram, 30-gram, and 240-gram. Deadel made with natural spices. For bulk purchase, call 0531 105 545.
The world gone crazy. Who's gonna save it?
And imagine buying and selling across Africa from the comfort of your home or office without changing your currency. Imagine doing this with your own mobile wallet. This is possible with interoperability of payments. The Africa Prosperity Network is hosting the cabinet-wide mobile interoperability symposium on July 5th at the Labadi Beach Hotel in Accra on the theme Scaling Up Interoperability Using Mobile Money to Buy and Sell Across Africa. This event brings together leaders and policymakers to integrate mobile payment systems and remove barriers to cross-border trade. Support AFTA's Digital Trade Protocol Initiative, highlighting the importance of interoperability in the African Union's 2063 agenda. Register now at africaprosperitynetwork.com or call 053-609-8325 or 0302-737-879 or leave us a message at protocol@africaprosperity.network.
The world gone crazy.
Now escape the hustle and bustle and find your sanctuary at Deaf Tracker Woodlands, a master plan gated community in Dowenya, just a minute's drive from Central University. It covers an area of 592 acres. You've got service plots and you've got homes that exist in a self-sustaining community. Acquire litigation land free today. Call 020-873-2302 or visit woodlands.deaftrackergroup.com for more info. Now, we all need water. When you are thirsty, you need it. You also need water to help your body function well. So for proper water, call Standard Water on 0202055703 or 0547-334-385. Standard Water, Mifileo. Now, this September, we are going to Malaysia and Singapore. Global Wings Travel and Tours is taking us all on a trip between the 9th and 18th of September. We get to experience Kuala Lumpur and get to experience Singapore and the nice sights and sounds that exist there. Call 0553-688-398 or 0550-188-181 or get to them on social at Global Wings Travel GH. Pack your bags and let's go on a journey of a lifetime. Now, let me tell you a story about my old neighbor, a hardworking baker who makes the tastiest pastries. For now, she's always had a small shop. A few days ago, she's now upgraded and she does deliveries. All it took was a conversation with APSA and she got a collateral-free loan of up to 500,000 cedis with a 10% annual interest rate. That can be your story, because at APSA, your story matters. Visit any APSA branch to find out more.
The cost of living is getting higher. Politicians are gambling with the future.
All right, so here is the story that is triggering the effect of this discussion. So it's a story written by Ni Amate Kanaku, who is our Eastern Regional correspondent. Do you have the story?
Yeah.
Can you give me the highlights?
It says cocoa farmers blame Galamsey's over decline in cocoa production, and it's available on citynewsroom.com.
Okay.
The story says cocoa farmers in Sejimase in the Buakwa South Municipality and Osino in the Fantiakwa South District of the Eastern Region have attributed the continuous indiscriminate illegal mining activities and forceful takeover of cocoa plantations by legal miners, popularly known as Galamsey's, as a contributory factor to the decline in cocoa production in the country. Now, some farmers in an interview with Channel 1 TV disclosed that poverty and lack of commitment from the government drove them into selling their cocoa plantations to illegal miners. Now, Enno Laurentia Akufu lamented how she lost her cocoa plantation after her son sold it out to illegal miners in her absence when she visited the regional capital for a medical checkup, and that would be the Eastern Regional Capital, Koforidua. Now, Opening Emmanuel Techi, an opinion leader and a former assemblyman for Sejimase, explained how the activities of illegal mining people have affected a total of 18 acres of his cocoa farms at 3 different locations. Now, Ghana's cocoa output for the 2023-2024 season is expected to be almost 40% below a target of 820,000 metric tons when global cocoa prices hit $10,000 per ton this year. Now, in the first 4 months of 2024, Ghana's trade balance narrowed after cocoa exports dropped. Now, on year-on-year comparison, cocoa output fell by almost 50%. Now, the situation is not different from Osino in the Fantiakwa South District, where about 40 to 50% of cocoa plantations have been sold out to illegal miners. Whoa, this is serious. About 70% of cocoa plantations have been lost to mining in Osino alone. When the news team decided to visit an area that once had a cocoa plantation just along the main Accra-Kumasi highway to check its state, illegal miners were there busily mining on site. Now, they had dug deep pits next to ECG poles and transmission lines and left them uncovered just about 10 meters away from the main highway. Now, in 2022, the leadership of the Ghana National Small-Scale Miners Association, during a working visit to the same spot, demanded the immediate arrest of persons involved in mining close to the main Accra-Kumasi highway. However, a year on, the situation has moved from bad to worse, as the illegal miners have mined the whole area, including under the electricity poles, leaving them hanging.
They've mined under electricity poles?
Exactly. Now, the question is, this is along the main highway, Accra-Kumasi. This area has a district chief executive. It has someone responsible for security. National security agents are in that space. RESEC, they are all in that space. DISEC, NADMO, all of them are there. You have political party leadership in these areas. You have opinion leaders. There are Muslim clerics. There are church leaders. There are traditional leaders. All of them are in this space. And there are citizens. How can you mine? Look, cocoa trees are protected by law because we consider them economic trees, important for the livelihood of the people, for the survival of the economy. So that if you do something to sabotage them, you can be arrested and properly dealt with. But here we are told about 70% of some of the trees in some areas have been mined.
Wow.
Destroyed completely.
70% of cocoa plantations?
Yes.
In Osino?
Yes. I mean...
Hey. And you know Krieg is in Koforidua. Krieg is in not Koforidua, it's in the Bunso area.
Oh God.
Tafo area. So you know we have 3 major cocoa growing regions: Western, North, Ashanti, and Eastern. So Eastern will probably be like 20%. Right? And if you look at where all our cocoa research institutions are, they are in the Eastern region. So Eastern region is a very important cocoa growing area for us. And to have, if this is to be believed, cocoa plantations within Osino having been lost to mining, you know, I think one of the problems with this is also the way we appoint people, because a lot of these new DCs appointed were party executives. That's also another issue, right? Some of the DCs appointed, and you know, there's a link between party executives and Galamsey. So the system is rotten, no, Sky. It's, to the core. We are in serious trouble as a country, that now people who are appointed to protect our collective resources are actively engaged or basically acquiescing by their silence the destruction of our future. Because what is happening is a distraction of our future.
Yep.
And this government has to be blamed.
Yep.
You've had 8 years.
Yes, they sort it out.
Now, I want to remind you of some of the things the president said, because you see, sometimes it looks like we are just making noise. The president said a lot of things which I think he has not lived up to.
Plenty.
I will put my presidency on the line to fight Galamsey.
That was Entuatua.
It didn't happen. I will make Accra the cleanest city in Africa.
Sure. Master boys are back of the daily graphic. There are a group of boys who today
120 something people.
They are going around the city of Accra.
The work of MCEs.
Doing the job that the Minister for Sanitation, the ministry responsible for local government, Ministry for Health, and all these people should be doing. The MCEs, the DCEs. This is what they should be supervising.
I will fight corruption and hold my appointees accountable.
SP, the special prosecutor, they are after him. They are chasing him out of office. That is what is happening.
I will prove to Ghanaians that there's no need for large number of government appointees or ministerial appointments.
Did you check the list of appointees lately?
Thousands.
Doomsday will be a thing of the past under my presidency.
Please, don't even mention it. As we speak, Watami, we are inside Doomsday Funya.
It's a clear problem.
Those who want to make money will have no place in my government.
Hey!
I'm telling you.
Wait, Diagro.
He said it.
He said they have no place in his.
He said it.
No, he said it under the influence of Agro.
No. So you see where we are going with this.
Okay.
Galamsey is thriving.
This is the golden age of Galamsey. Throughout the history of this country, this is actually the golden age of Galamsey. Nobody respects the laws. People in authority who should know better are encouraging citizens to go after security men when they come asking questions. That's how bad we have run this country. And the question is, some of these people making these irresponsible statements, what has happened to them? The party leadership is not asking questions. They are not punishing them. They are not removing them from the ballot. They are keeping them there just because a semblance of an apology.
So I'm going back to Ghanaians to say that if politicians think that by playing to the gallery they will win votes, it's also an indictment on us. Which means that they think our judgment is skewed. So we have to collectively let politicians know that we are not foolish. Yes, and because if they will sit down for people to do what they do in the name of votes, then it means that they think that Ghanaians don't read between the lines. That's what it means. That if you go to Galamsey communities, you will only win elections if you support Galamseyers. So those of you in Galamsey communities who believe that you don't support Galamsey, you must let your voice be heard so the politicians know, because evil thrives when good people keep quiet.
Mm-hmm.
You get it? So you go to a community, and because some people support Galamsey and are loud, the MP and the aspirant keep quiet when Galamsey is going on, because they don't think that the people which means that all of us don't seem to have common sense to know that what's happening is going to destroy us. And that the only thing to be restricted is those who want money now for Galamsey. Do you see where I'm going? So it means that we, the guys who say we are against Galamsey, we are against misgovernance, have been too quiet. That's what it means. For them to actually think, for an MP aspirant to say in the presence of a minister that, oh, if a soldier comes to your Galamsey side, beat him up. Mm-hmm. How serious can... And the party hasn't said anything.
No. The party of BJ Darocha. He's not said anything. Nothing has happened to the guy. He issued what is an apology of an apology, and everybody is happy. Oh, Yankoso. You cannot expect Ghana to be better when things are so rotten to the core as to encourage party leaders who should know better to say things like that and walk away free of charge. Some arrest is made, and then that is what it is.
Let me hear a quick report, and then I'll do a short interview on this matter. Ecological disaster, failed leadership, and a future compromised. That's what we are sitting on. Whilst we all go about our business, presumably making money. Most of the money we make will be spent buying water to drink and treating sicknesses caused by Galamsey out of food we eat, which is polluted. So you'll be working hard to help you. Let's listen to this report.
So we are currently here at Akem Sejimase here in the Ebuakwa South municipality of the Eastern region. Now behind me is the Etiwa forest. Now the people here are predominantly farmers, and a number of cocoa farmers are here. We are going to engage some of these cocoa farmers to find out if they are still in business, and if they are not in business, also find out why they give out their cocoa plantations to illegal miners.
So no sika obi ba betu di no no hwe kokwa obenya onye sika bi onye sika fa mo ho bra no enti oton office no sika no betum dia bibi ya no ka ho se me kura se na se mi sister bi wu kura sika se mo nya no nya me yem ye fo sa se ma ton bi no wacha se me de magala mi sifo mo di adwuma e se amwa se ya dia ka sika wi ayi abani timi boa akuafo ne dia ke bitima eden aba makoko na ka ho. So what I say, Makukuna can Jabano soon to Nimra and class room here. Yes, be no jama, or Mom Yoku my spleen in Quadabi, or man penny for which in Jinamatoy, and young Jacamento.
Obiwa or Presigantam. Send now Binyano. Mentions as Gano, Eri, Yinanti, made many 100 and a woman.
You know, to say, and pay for your family.
And I won't pay in for what I say. Won't be age said manner, won't be whom criminal Buddha. Oh, Mamma, why? The middle or not the mint means it. Okay, for my issue, the big Coco's quality. It's a chabla, near Boboja, Tali, and I say, body, and I could do near the 5 gallons. I shall see. I think the boy. Well, you saw more, I saw a new phone car, this is our or 50, and I say, we are, then I'll be in the view. Utimi nyebi papa bia ya bebo timi de go nje e ka me kwa nanka ye pote mo naka si atu.
Eno Florence Danso lost her cocoa plantation after her son sold it out to illegal miners in her absence when she visited the regional capital Koforidua for medical checkup. She says with me her regrets years on.
Ntino me ba na me ba adi cocoa na ma ama ubi Olipako na nkasa no bo obebo na son na ma no di kokoo no ma no nti me ba ne koye nsem bebre na odi kan so amaniska nti na chesi ye ho hwie ni na e ma ye di ma no nso no sika odi ma ye nkura na nyi sika bia nti no ye dan bi na ye tu so na ye de boy nti asase na aka na daho oni fo otu ye nso baba be sisi enso no o se wafa obi so me ye oni pa kono de ocho na de echi a be si na da so daho ayenye ye
Koko ne how many asase na kesi of say
asase na 3
ka okay nti asemi wo ba ya oba no ebo amane sorry koku na mankofo wan kan kire no eti o sen
ha ye pa
rebel liberation tell me where you gonna run.
And international development partners. Join us for 2 days of insightful dialogue and idea exchange with global experts. Learn about key policies the Ghana government is taking to address issues about exclusion, latest technological innovation, and new business models that are driving financial inclusion. Don't miss out on this unique platform to engage with leading minds and shape the future of financial inclusion. It's on Wednesday the 26th, Thursday the 27th of June, Badi Beach Hotel. All right, so let's go to the Eastern region. Neil Niamati Kanaku is on the line. Neil, thanks for joining us on this show. We just had that report. Which communities are we talking about? Which districts are we talking about when we talk about this Galamsey and Cocoa?
Thank you very much, and good morning to our listeners. So I visited 2 districts in the Eastern region, that is the Ebuakwa South. The town proper is Sejimase, very close to Yakwa, very close to the Chibi area. And the second stop was at Osino, which is on the main Accra Kumasi Highway. That is the Fantiakwa South District of the Eastern Region.
And describe what you saw at Sejimase. And by the way, was this visit occasioned by the people calling you to come there, or how did you end up there?
Yeah, so based on the report from Cocoa Board, the City Business Desk report that there was a decline in cocoa production, which was affecting cocoa products. I was tasked by my boss, Vivian, to enter into some of the cocoa producing communities to find out some of these reasons. So I decided to go to the Sejimase area. When we started the fight against illegal mining, that is Galamsey, some 6-5 years ago, myself and then Kuju Ajma visited some communities which had large portions of cocoa plantations. So I decided to go to that side to find out if those plantations were still surviving and then the farmers were still in business. Now, to my surprise, when we got there, the whole area, acres and acres of land had been degraded by this illegal miners. So I had to enter the community proper where the people lived to engage them. And some of these farmers openly told me reasons why they had to sell their cocoa plantations. They gave varied reasons. Others had to do with poverty. From them, they claim that the current state of the economy is not allowing them to, as a matter of fact, go enter into the cocoa production. So they had to give out their farmlands to these illegal miners. Others also indicated that their farmlands were taken forcefully by them, by the illegal miners. Now, what they do is when they come to you, they would offer you, they will quote a price for you that we want to mine your area. Now, we know you have cocoa, you have palm, you have sugarcane on the plantation. So this is what we want to give you. They will not ask you what you want to take, but they will just give you a quotation. If you are cool with it, they go ahead. If you are not cool with it, they'll move to the next farm, which is very close to yours, and then try to strike an agreement with the farm owner. So if that farm owner agrees, they start mining that area. They will mine that area and leave your farm in the middle. So even getting access to your farm now becomes a problem. And whenever it rains, they don't even cover the mine area. So it becomes very difficult for the farmer who resisted the sale of his or her cocoa plantation to even get access to the farm. So now you'll be left with no option than to come back to them, strike a different agreement where they will even beat down the initial price that they wanted to give it to you. So, Bernard, that's the state of some cocoa plantations in the eastern region as we speak now.
You said that in one of the towns, about 70% of the cocoa farms had been taken over. Is that correct? 70% of cocoa farms?
Yes, that is Osino, and anyone who knows that area proper can testify to this. Even if we should open the phone lines for residents in that area or people who have lived in Osino to even phone in, you'll be shocked with some of the revelations that will come out. 3-4 years ago, I visited Osino. I visited Himan, that is Achem Himan, Jampomeni, and Domi. These are all cocoa growing areas along the that stretch. Now, when I go to Osino, I realized that huge portions of land people were cultivating cabbage, tomatoes, and cocoa along that stretch. Now, last year and last 2 years when I visited that area, all those farms were nowhere to be found. All those farms have gone somewhere else because the whole area has been degraded by illegal. You can see portions of that area, a large stretch. Even when you are driving through that side from Osino and then you are heading towards Jampomani and Domi and Heman. Residents of Heman over the years raised strong resistance against illegal mining. But Bernard, today, we lost the fight because the Jampomani area, the Domi area have all succumbed to illegal mining, which left the residents of Heman alone by themselves. And as we speak now, illegal miners and then even some small-scale miners have invaded the Jampomani area. Now, when you call the assemblyman, he doesn't want to speak to issues with regards to illegal mining because they've lost the fight. All the river bodies, Akesu, Dream, are all bad as we speak now.
Are the townsfolk of Osino or Jampomani, are they concerned about this at all?
Yes, initially those who resisted their farmlands being mined realized that the leaders whom they fought on in the fight have all given up. Now you go to bed knowing perfectly that you have a farm. Now the next morning you visit your farm and it's been mined because you failed to accept the terms and conditions of these illegal miners. Who do you fall to? With the police? Who do you fall to? The traditional authority? Because you are not going to get them to even make an arrest or speak to the issues. So the whole area, Heman, which even we have a report when you go to Citi online and then you type Atem Heman, there are several reports I've done in that area that residents were resisting illegal mining. But now they've all lost the fight. Heman, Jampomani, Osino, all these areas have been mined. Even this year and last year, I did report that the Ghana Water Company Limited plant, they had to shut it down because the people are mining just next to the extraction point of the Ghana Water Company Limited at Osino, at Bunsu, and this is going on. Bernard, as we speak, it's going on. Even just
this mining this mining is different from community mining. This is not community mining.
No.
This is illegal mining.
This is not a community mining. This is illegal mining, Bernard. This is illegal mining. Last year, I visited a spot very close to the main Accra Kumasi highway on the Osino stretch. If you are driving, anybody going to Kumasi, anybody coming from Kumasi to Accra, when you are coming from Kumasi heading towards Accra, before you get to where the speed ramps are, just about 200 or 300 meters to where the speed ramps are. And then when you are coming from Accra and then you get to Osino town proper, just 200 meters after the speed ramp, look to your left or look to your right, you see illegal miners working currently as we speak now. They are mining just 5 meters away from the main highway. Last year, Godwin Ama, the General Secretary of the National Small Scales Association, when I visited that area with him, called for the immediate arrest of persons who were mining. And immediately after we aired the report on Citi, they halted their process. Now, Bernard, today, illegal miners are there working up. Now they've even moved to the other side of the road and have dug holes. Even where installations, where the electricity company of Ghana have their installations, their wires, their poles, they've dug, and then these poles are hanging on a thread as we speak, Bernard.
Thank you for your report, Ni Amate Kanaku. He is our reporter for the Eastern region. You heard it there yourself on the main Accra Kumasi Road. It mentions Achim Ebuakwa South.
Yeah.
And then he mentions Fantiakwa. So the towns are Sejimasi, which is in Ebuakwa South, and then Osino. You know, Osino graphic is something we buy when we travel to Kumasi. So Osino is not difficult to see.
Is it not an indictment? If you have a responsible government, why would a DC for that area still be in office? Because he is the head of security in that space.
Yep.
And he is supposed to ensure that our collective interests very much protected there. But from what the gentleman is narrating, our reporter is telling us, in the open, it's not like people are hiding to do it.
They are doing it.
Fidi Gadochi, people are mining during the day. By the roadside, ECG poles are being affected as a result.
They are hanging. And the water processors are all in trouble.
And we are sitting and watching, and he's collecting salary every month.
Pascal, isn't this beyond the DC? From the way he describes this, we have a minister for lands, a minister for environment.
No, I understand that. I mentioned that earlier. That at that level, within that small space,
obviously,
you are responsible for that space. So, what has he done about it? Then we escalate it to the ministers responsible. Clearly, the government is not fit for purpose. On the matter of fighting the illegal mining, you cannot see that they are doing anything about it. We go every year procure trees and plant them. Millions of trees we say we have planted already. About 30 million we are told have survived. So we plant them
and then we
go to
people to go to the farms and the forest and destroy it. It's a serious, and for me, I want Ghanaians to know that these things we keep saying, it's not because we don't have anything else to say. And you may think it doesn't affect you because you work in Accra, you live in a gated community, everything is okay.
It will affect you.
The fish you eat, the tomatoes you buy, the vegetables you eat, the water you won't get. Ghana Water they're even tired of talking about this. For me, all the ministries concerned, the sanitation ministry, the water works and housing ministry, the ministry of lands, the ministry of environment, the ministry of health, they all need to wake up. Look, there's no other way of saying it. This government has really disappointed us when it comes to this Galamsey fight. The president in particular. And to think that this happened in the Buakwa South, is that not where he's from?
Yeah, that's where he's from. He was member of parliament for that constituency in 1996. Eventually left office after he was elected the presidential candidate. So one would expect that his umbilical cord is tied to that particular space. And he would lead by an example.
Has he said anything about Galamsey recently?
Oh, as for the Galamsey, dear Charlie, I don't even if he speaks, I'm not too sure whether it carries any real weight. Because talk alone and no action would not give you any credibility.
But in the State of the Nation address, was there anything said about it?
No, I don't remember him saying anything about it, if my memory serves me correctly. And Bernard, I'm just receiving some disturbing photographs from some people within this built environment. And the suggestion is that the railway construction project that is going on in parts of the western region, for instance, the Galamseyers are threatening that project as we speak. Because they are either mining the project itself or mining close to the project.
Are you serious?
So the integrity of the rail system that we are building, we are pouring so much money of money that we have gone out to loan. We are sinking into a project which we hope would open up parts of this country for us to bring things from the hinterlands. But because of some people's greed, because of some people's that's right. And the areas, I'm told, include Mpoho Wasa, right?
Galamseyers are now fighting the construction of
exactly
a railway.
Yes, I'm told that Amandi, the folks who are building the thing, they are called Amandi.
Yeah.
And then the areas include Manso, and in Kwanta and Soam area we have Amanting, Benso, Eswaso, Bonsawire.
Are you mentioning places in Ghana, or it sounds like we are mentioning places in the Volta region? Mention the thing properly.
Forgive me, I'm not a native speaker. Amanting.
Okay.
Is that correct? Benso
oil palm. Benso oil palm. So that's western region.
Eswaso, Bonsawire, Achim, and Unsuta. All of these places.
Give me the thing. You are spoiling it. You have them. You go read them.
Okay.
So these are places in Mbawasa, Manso, Amantin, Benso, Esuaso, Bonsawire, Achim, and Nisuta, all in Takwa and Suayim. Okay. And there's a video accompanying. Do you have more information? Do you have more information on this? Okay. So Sky. So
and I'm looking at the photograph, Bernard. You can see the rail line. Like, and parallel to it, you have what appears to be a gutter, right? Which has been dug along the rail line. And you see that this is actually, the work of Galamseyers, right? You think that it's a gutter. It's not a gutter. The people deliberately went there to mine along the railway line. Now, in which country do you see this happen and nobody has the presence of mind as a person in authority to put his foot down and say, look, in this particular space, I'm declaring a state of emergency. I am dealing with the people. Every month, our ministers receive their salaries.
So they are fighting. Is the Amadi Estate project?
Yeah, it's a state-funded project. We have taken loan to do it.
And the miners, they don't allow us to build
yes.
the rail.
Yes.
Why?
Because they want to do their galamsey.
Why? How does the rail affect them?
Oh, when you build it across, you know, they have, every part.
Oh, they want to mine under.
Yes, almost every part of those areas, you find gold somewhere. So this thing that they are building is affecting them. So they don't want it. So allow them to do their galamsey. And then we are sitting down and watching.
Serious matter. So now they shouldn't build a railway because of galamsey.
Yes.
Charlie, the first you say we shouldn't go to school again because of galamsey.
I'm sure that there are communities where the schools themselves have been mined.
They mine the school?
Yes.
Around the school or inside the school?
Oh, if you call our correspondent in these areas, they will tell you that in some spaces the schools themselves have been mined. And the students even don't see the need to go to school because when you go just next door, you are going to make money.
Mm-hmm. So there's also a social dimension.
Yes. And we have failed so badly. We have failed so miserably that you can't even imagine that there is a government in office. For 8 good years, whether since 2016 or 2015 or 2017, you and I, we've been talking about this. We launched a campaign here. And Stop Galamsey Now.
Mm-hmm. I want to read a story for you.
We did videos and all of that. Okay, go on.
April 19, 2024, BNFT. The sad story of Jacobu in Amansia Central by Nana Nkansa Jukum, from a cocoa hub to a galamsey haven. I once asked my aunt on one of my visits to my hometown why chobas and eatery joints are booming compared to my childhood days. Her response, because we can't afford to cook their own food. It's expensive. Then one day I went to the market myself. From plantain, cassava, vegetables to fish, everything was just too much for me. I came back frustrated with empty hands. I gave the money back to my aunt to sort things out, as I couldn't figure out what to buy with everything just too expensive in a supposedly farming town like mine. She then retorted, imagine someone without a farm, which is the case of most people now, buying everything in order to afford a decent meal. That was when reality dawned on me. But the question is, how did we get here? In the 90s, when I was schooling there, my house had so much food that sometimes I invited my schoolmates to come and take some away before they were wasted. We had everything in those days: yam, all the varieties, plantain, and above all, cocoa farms in the thick forest of Jacobu and its environs. All you needed to have a sumptuous meal was a few coins to get fish or meat, and every other thing was there in abundance. Shockingly, market queens now source their foodstuff from Obuasi to sell in Jacobu. The constituency was not named Odotobri for nothing. Odoto is a thick forest, and indeed it was that thick forest for the cultivation of everything before our common enemy, Galamsey, reared its ugly head. Since Galamsey gained ground over there, everything has been on the reverse. The youth are heavily implicated in the whole Galamsey mess and will trade their education for quick galam money. Cocoa farms are being turned into Galamsey pits everywhere. I had a trip about a year ago from Jacobu to a nearby cocoa community. The boldness and conspicuous manner the illegal miners were operating along the road clearly showed there is more to this Galamsey menace than meets the eye. How can people operate openly in this illegality if they were not backed by other powerful authorities? All the drumming most media houses have done about Galamsey and the heart-wrenching videos and pictures of the wanton destruction of our water bodies and forests should have yielded some results by now. If you got to see Jacobu then and now, barely any major or even minor infrastructure development has taken place, except of course the massive loss of our farms and green pastures. The last time I saw the Odo River at Anyankwanta along the Kumasi-Obuasi highway was a sad sight to behold. This river used to be the source of drinking water when I visited my grandmother's village some years ago. Now, anytime I see images of this river, my heart bleeds. I once told someone that river was a source of drinking water in my grandparents' village, and the person screamed. Why should we be concerned? World cocoa prices are at a record high, but where are the cocoa beans? The recent 58% increment of cocoa prices from 20,928 cedis per ton to 33,000 per ton should have at least brought some joy to cocoa farmers. When I curiously called my aunt to tell her, she was just unperturbed. Her initial response was, "We don't even have the cocoa beans." I'm not oblivious to the other factors that have contributed to this decline in production. My concern, however, is the fast rate at which our cocoa farms are giving way for galamsey activities. The situation is akin to having double slaps on the same cheek. The farms are shrinking on one side and the yields are reducing due to other factors. Our sector to go into history books like other sectors. So, what can we do, you ask? That is the dilemma we are all facing. An open secret that the people who are supposed to fight galamsey are the very ones perpetrating the act. That is the debacle we find ourselves in. Written by Nana Nkansa Ejekum, April 19, 2024, Business and Financial Times. We are just doing our job. Hopefully, maybe the president's pastor will call him and ask him to listen to the radio and do something about galamsey. He has the ultimate power. He has to take responsibility. Chief of Omanpe in the Awin district of the Western region has narrated how he offered part of a school land for illegal mining known as galamsey. According to Nana Opompenyin II, he took the decision to allow a Chinese company to mine at the site in order to save the lives of the peoples because a big gully had developed behind the school, which was becoming a death trap. Speaking to Adom FM, the chief said the municipal assembly had, for many years, turned deaf ears to the appeals from the people of Omanpe and its surrounding towns. We've been left to our fate, and anytime it rained, we are in trouble. When it rains, all buildings, including my palace, get flooded, and people get displaced as well as properties. I wrote a report to NADMO and the MCA inviting them to the place. But all NADMO officials do is to come and give 2 cups of rice to flood victims and leave, he lamented. Nana Opompenyin II said the situation persisted for long till the miners from HK Zindim came to the town's rescue to divert the waterway. He said it was a Chinese company that came to the community's rescue by blocking the water from flooding towns anytime it rained. They asked for land behind the school to mine in return, and I agreed because they really helped us, he said. Nana Opompenyin stressed the fact that it wasn't his intention to give out the said place for such a purpose, insisting also that the mining activity was far from the school. Contrary to reports, I rather asked the miners to cover a drain behind the school in order not to put the lives of the peoples at risk, Nana explained. Reports suggest that illegal miners from neighboring districts have found the Awin municipality very attractive for their illegal activities. During the period of the ban on small-scale mining and others, there have been many incursions into our Awini municipality by the miners. These have been despite fierce resistance from the Municipal Security Council and the Municipal Committee Against Illegal Mining. Meanwhile, 6 people involved in the act have been arrested and granted bail with investigations ongoing. Story on Adom Online.
There's another one. So Western Region is a very recent story. It was published in March 19, 2024. Western Region, Galamsey operations threaten safety at Accra Newtown DA Basic School. As tensions rise and the safety of the school hangs precariously in the balance.
Accra?
Yeah, but it's in the Western Region. So let me tell you the story. The story says that it's by Messi Abuaj. It says, Accra Newtown DA Basic School, nestled within the serene landscapes of the Wasa East District in the Western Region, is facing a perilous threat, Galamsey. The once tranquil educational haven has been marred by the encroachment of illegal mining activities, turning its surroundings into a zone of danger. Within a mere 8-meter radius of the school, the clandestine operations of the Galamseyers have taken root, posing a grave risk, not a grave risk, to the safety of both the teachers and learners alike. Now, speaking on condition of anonymity, teachers voiced their concerns over the proliferation of gaping pits left behind by the Galamsey activities. Now, these treacherous craters, brimming with water, serve as potential traps for unsuspecting students, particularly during break periods when the innocent laughter of children fill the air. Yet, it is not just the educators who are gripped by apprehension. The residents of Accra Newtown share their collective unease. With each passing day, fears mount as the encroachment of illegal miners creeps ever closer to the school premises. Despite the escalating urgency of the situation, authorities have remained conspicuously silent, leaving... Hold on.
Conspicuously silent?
Yeah.
Next story is misbehaving.
No. So somebody sent me something that interrupted. Forgive me. Despite the escalating urgency of the situation, authorities have remained conspicuously silent, leaving the community to grapple with the looming threat unaided. Now, voices within the community have pointed fingers at the District Chief Executive for Wasa East, Honorable Emmanuel Wache, the Queen Mother of the Accra Newtown area, Na Akweye Kwa the First, accusing them of allowing the situation to spiral out of control. Now, tension rise and the safety of the school hangs precariously in the balance. Urgent intervention is needed to safeguard the future of Accra Newtown DS Basic School and its cherished students.
Let me read something for you. This is a friend of mine in construction. He says, "Good morning, Aloski. I just started a new construction project in Accra. So I went to Abofu to hire a bulldozer. It was difficult getting one. Finally, I got one, but struggled to get a low bed to convey it to site. So I asked the guys around, where are all the equipment and trucks? Because that area is like a plant pool. To my surprise, the guys told me, the Galamsey, no, it has been opened. They said it in free. Galamsey no will be. So all our bulldozers, excavators, and low beds have been rented and taken to the bush. The guy told me." We're in Galamsey season. If voters don't punish Galamsey supporting leaders, then we are part of the problem. I'm telling you, that Galamsey ni yebie.
Oh yeah.
Yebie so agbelena. All right, let's get into the comments.
All right, Kofi Ntema says, hello, Bernard. We have to admit that Ghana is a failed project. Illegal mining right in the president's hometown. Unfortunately, Mr. Mahama isn't also condemning illegal mining because he equally wants votes from it. I think the media must make illegal mining the number one subject for this year's election. This one says, people, the guys in cabinet who must fight Galamsey are themselves involved. So how do you expect them to resolve it? This one says, I will suggest to your people to pay a trip through the Ashanti region to Asankregwa through Dwaboso. In Asankregwa, you find young people surface mining at 2 a.m. and the whole community knows and does not care. I think the Volta spillage should be directed to the west to save the situation, for it is hell in the west. Was there in Takrad?
Can explain? Is he saying that maybe like they need water in
Oh,
the
so
West.
what he's saying is that if we flood those places, maybe the Galamseyers will not be working there any longer.
Oh no, we can't do that.
That's what he is.
But the water doesn't go to the west; it comes down to the east, so
Yeah.
you can't divert it.
Okay, this one says, Bernard, from what Sky is saying about the DCE, then the president should resign because it's close to his hometown. And then it says you should try the Wasai Kupon area. It's worse. You see them in daylight, broad daylight. Sorry. Abraham Ingbawe says, I think our leaders think we are dumb. They care less about us. Max from Mutinibi says, good point raised by Sky. But you know, this particular government behaves like a womanizer. They say what they won't do, but they would say it just to convince you. Okay? But the issue is about our mineral law. The law that says every mineral detected everywhere goes to the government. What happened to the people in my father's village near Akwetia was that the people come with a paper from Accra saying a mineral has been detected on your land. Either you take some money or release it, or the government takes it away from you. If you refuse, you lose everything. So the cocoa farmers have no choice than to let their farms go. Kweku from Michelle Camp.
These are serious things, eh?
Jones Adoboinla says, I'm surprised you are now noticing the problem with our cocoa shortfall. We've since lost that second largest position due to the inept and laziness of an administration that promised Ghanaians heaven on earth. K-Ram from Nima says, it will demand bold decisions for the government and the authorities to arrest the paramount chiefs, the traditional leaders, and all government officials involved in this menace to apprehend Galamsey perpetrators who caused this havoc. And this one says, if we as citizens do not take issues into our own hands, we'll end up in a few years as the number 10 cocoa producer in Africa. Our leaders have failed us spectacularly. We have to take our lives into our own hands. Voting out leaders alone cannot be the solution. We have to be more active. Eric in Dansuman. He says, Bernade, please, can't the military see this as a threat to our nation and take action on this Galamsey menace?
Military can't act without command from the commander-in-chief. So they don't. If otherwise, then we can't have a country. Because the number of things going wrong in this country, if they say they will correct it on their own anchor, it won't work like that, please.
All right. This one says, I'm being forced to sell my cocoa farm in Apradang, Kwahu West Municipality, at a low price due to the devastating invasion of Galamsey. Yeah, Galamsey operators.
So far, we've heard from Impoho. You've heard from, what do you call it, Asankregua. You've heard from Wase Kropon. You have Jacobu in Ashanti. Mansun Kwanta. Now you have Osino. And now you're talking about Kwahu West.
Yeah. He's saying that, so the message says, so I've been forced to sell my cocoa farm in Apradang, Kwahu West Municipality, at a low price due to the devastating invasion of Galamsey operators. They stormed my farm at night, threatening to kill my caretaker who lives nearby. Within a week, they destroyed my farmland. Okay, now he's alleging that the mastermind is a politician. It pains me to recall the destruction of my farmland, which I bought for my 3-year-old son. I've sold 10 acres at a loss for 50,000 cedis. Similarly, in Ketu South, vast lands are being ravaged by sand-winning activities, with trucks smuggling sand to Togo at odd hours. My Amejikope land is destroyed, and my newly uncompleted house at Kopehia is gone. Okay, and he is also alleging that some politicians are behind it. Authorities are aware, but they seem to turn a blind eye. It's appalling that the Ghana Police Service, NIB, and other security agencies are failing to act. Dossi Ray from Afienya.
Wow.
Another message, the saddest aspect of the situation is that this is happening in the backyard of the president. It seems there is no leadership in this country. My heart bleeds for our beloved Ghana. Justice from Konongo. This one says, our dear nation is in the mud. The nation is full of greedy people who have lost touch of the future. A farm that was left for you by your forefathers was sold for your immediate comfort. Says, Ben, the youth are greedier. Cocoa farms used to be a family investment. I blame we the citizens and the media. Instead of teaming up against the perpetrators, we spend time critiquing someone who gave a promise and had put in some effort. Justice from Wa. Okay. This one says, what the guy is saying is true, pa. I went for a funeral in the area and the place is
Scariest thing is that most of the miners are not even Ghanaians. So in my Achim area, you see Malians, Burkinabes, Nigerians, and Ghanaians, some from northern Ghana. So when I ask why are locals looking as outsiders decimate their lands for pittance, impregnate their daughters in the process, is it just poverty? It's very sad. What are the DCs and chiefs doing? You our honest series, and then we'll talk to the guys behind the Petroleum Hub project that's coming up shortly. In the meantime, Omni Basic has some great news. The 5th edition of our Omni Basic Bank Health Walk is happening live Saturday, June 29 at the forecourt of the State House from 5:30 a.m. The walk will start from the forecourt of the State House through some principal streets of Accra, back to the same venue for aerobics and fun-packed activities. Participation is free. Come on Saturday, 29 June to the forecourt of the State House. Omni Basic Health Walk. Call 0800 100 790. That's 0800 100 790. Remember, the better health starts here. Omni Basic Bank at your service. Eden Heights is a well-planned and secured gated community with access to an ultramodern sports complex, Olympic-sized swimming pool, football court, basketball, athletic and gym facilities. Eden Heights has available 2, 3, 4-bedroom apartments and penthouses of the highest grade, delicately styled for your comfort and relaxation. They are located at West Hills Mall, Weja in Accra. You can call 0501 531 444 for purchase or rental, or go to edenheights.com.gh for more information.
Now, when you buy anything, it has to be the very best. Diamond's 42.5 hour grade cement is the highest quality on the Ghanaian market. These days, they have the affordable 32.5 hour grade, which means that's good value for everybody. That's great value for your pocket. Call Diamond Cement on 0244 313368 or 0202021175. Find them in Apalao, Takrade, and Buipe. Diamond Cement, still hard as a diamond. You've closed from work, you're home, you want to relax, but the mattress is sagging beneath you. That should not be your story. Step into Latex Foams showrooms and experience the difference for yourself. They've got high quality mattresses and furniture crafted with your ultimate relaxation in mind. Call them on 0302 231155. Remember that Latex Foam is your partner for life.
Big happy birthday to Caleb Kuda, who is currently in Rwanda. A Bontin father in Rwanda doing the Lord's work. He'll be back by weekend. Let me also wish happy birthday to a couple of people. Happy birthday to Asante Professionals, or from Asante Professionals Club to Odysseus Dian Ama Bempoma Mansa. May the good Lord and the golden spirit of Asanteman continue to bless and protect you. This is from the APC National Executive Council to Odysseus Dian Ama Bempoma. Happy birthday to Reverend Christopher Papani Abe from your lovely wife Charlotte Forsen Abe, audit and assurance partner of Deloitte, and all partners and friends of Deloitte. And also, happy birthday, our Pia Latte, partner financial advisory Deloitte Ghana, and to Esther Wadie and Aram Kunehia of the Tax and Regulatory Department of Deloitte Ghana. From your country managing partner Daniel Kojo and all staff. Happy birthday to the love of my life, Mr. Samoni Nate, head of IT at MAB International School, Nyamiche. May the good Lord bless and protect you. I love you dearly, my king. From your wife, Mrs. Felicia Nate.
Well, yes, you have done the ones I wanted to do. So there is one there. It's a message that's
okay. We'll deal with that shortly before we jump into our next segment.
Okay. So this one says, "Good morning, CBS team. Please wish Madame Veronica Animle a happy birthday. May the good Lord guide her and protect her and open more doors and opportunities for her." It's coming in from Robert in Manette. Happy birthday to Mr. Cleaver Precious Agbasa. May you continue to enjoy God's grace that makes even your enemies be at peace with you. It's coming in from your wife and your children. And this one says, happy birthday to the most amazing sister in the world, Nana Sewa Adolabe, the administrative manager at, Pali
Pallizen Grows Company.
Company, okay. We hope your day is filled with laughter, love, and all your favorite things from your loving brothers, Kwabena and Kofi, parents, sister-in-law, Shelley, and nephews, Ethan and Ernie. And this one says that happy birthday to Belinda Sari. I thank God for your life. I pray that as you enter into a new stage in your life, I ask God for favors, blessings, and more upon your life. The Lord will protect and guide you in all that you do. It's coming in from Abraham in Gbawe.
All right.
And this one says, Bernard, please help me wish Elvis Kabu of GPHA, the Reefer Terminal, a happy birthday. Have an anointing day, and may the Lord God continue to bless you. So it's coming in from Shop Steward.
And happy 40th to my soulmate, Mrs. Elizabeth Aivo Lamte of the Ministry of Finance. From your husband, Michael, and the kids, Caitlin and Michaela and Ryan. We love you, Mama Lizzie. All right, we'll be back with more. Stay tuned.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Are you a builder, contractor, or homeowner with a passion for quality? Look no further. At Yale, we pride ourselves in trusted security and quality hardware for doors. Visit our showroom on 11th Lane Street in Accra, Ghana, and discover the world of Yale door hardware handles and locks. At Yale, we understand your need for security and the desire for elegance. Our products not only protect your loved ones, but also add a touch of sophistication to your home or business. Whether you're renovating your space or crafting a new masterpiece, Yale is your trusted partner with a history of 180 years of innovation. Come on down to Yale today. Experience the perfect blend of security and style with Yale. Yale, where security meets style.
Escape to Paduasi Valley Resort, where flavors come alive as we live life. Join us every Friday evening for our barbecue dinner and enjoy the juiciest of meat that melts effortlessly on your palate. Weekends are amazing with local buffets, live band music, and local drinks. Don't miss our Sunday brunch. Our chef specials and pizzas take you on a sumptuous culinary journey with every bite. Be it breakfast, lunch, or dinner, we've got it all.
Hi, Mom, it's me, Kwame.
Hey, Kwame, how are you?
Mom, I'm fine, oh.
Okay.
You know something?
No, tell me.
I'm looking for a complete furniture set for my new place.
Kwame, I've told you before, the only one place you should go, eh?
Yeah, Mom, but I need a mattress to fit my bed.
Ash Foam.
I need a bed to fit my room.
Ash Foam.
What about a sofa where go relax my body?
Ash Foam.
Wardrobes to fit all my clothes?
Ash Foam.
What about linens and pillows for sweet dreams?
Kwame, Ash Foam.
Mommy, I feel you. Ash Foam all the way.
From mattresses to beds, sofas, wardrobes, linens, pillows, and more. Don't waste time and visit any Ashram showroom across the country or call our hotline at 0243 200 729. Ashfoam. Feel it, know it.
Hey, Walambo!
Hey, Walambo!
I asked him to buy me original Polita.
Hey, please don't make mistake. Talk to Papa. Open the back, ma'am. And you no gala. Hey, Papa.
Papa, can
the Polita is the original, the first and the best.
What is? Ukota also put the acrobat to use me.
Polita, yes.
Join the conversation on the City Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag CityCBS.
The City Breakfast Show.
So welcome to another edition of our on-air series in our final week of the City Business Festival. This week we're focusing on small and medium-sized enterprises. We're so excited to be bringing you a conversation on human resources management for SMEs. I'm excited to introduce my guest, Dr. Francis Eduku, who's the CEO of the Chartered Institute of Human Resource Management. Doc, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I like the name, CIHRM. Tell me about the institution.
Yeah, CIHRM stands for Chartered Institute of Human Resource Management, Ghana, the only regulatory body that regulates human resource management practices in the country. We started some years back, as far back as 1978, and we only got our charter status in 2020 and our regulations in 2023. So I'm so excited that for the first time, the profession, the most important profession I call, because it's all about people, is now recognized in Ghana like the accountants and the lawyers. So it's an exciting time.
We know human resource management is important for business, but how important is it for small and medium-sized organizations?
Thank you. I think, like you said, you see, human resource management is very critical because every organization, you will talk about people. It's the people who transform the organization processes, create value, and the products that is eventually turn out into money. It's not the machines, because if the people don't operate or drive the machines alone cannot create value. So that makes human resource management very, very important. But with a link to SMEs, you know, as people are the backbone to every organization, SMEs are also the backbone to any economy through job creation and economic growth. But when you pick the human resource dimension, which now drives the value for the business, if SMEs have proper HR processes, right from recruitment, selection, performance management, reward, and motivation, then they will create more value for their organizations. But more often than not, you see most SMEs operating at the informal level, where they don't have structured HR processes. For some, people are even recruited before they prepare job descriptions. And the job descriptions, which is supposed to drive the recruitment process, is the reverse. And a typical HR or well-coordinated HR practice must have a link to the mission and vision of the organization. Because after all, you need people to do something, and that something is the mission and the vision of the organization. So people are very critical for the success of SME, and for that matter, when you talk about people, then you want to talk about the human resource management that focuses on getting the right people at the right place at the right time.
How different is HR management for SMEs compared to larger organizations? I ask this because, as you said, the processes are quite elaborate. Recruitment, selection, human performance management, retention, they seem very elaborate. Small companies typically are in a hurry. They are doing gigs and they have very small teams. So describe why you think that even for small companies, the HR management must be well structured. Because a lot of company owners will say, Charlie, I don't have time. And my people are not even many. So what's your problem?
Yeah, that is interesting. That is the informality that I spoke about, because, you know, basically most SMEs operate at the informal level where they will not put systems and people systems or HR systems and structures in place. So people come in and they don't even know their status, whether they are contractors, whether they are regular, whether they are on fixed term. They don't know. Records keeping are very poor. So in that way, you can't get people motivated. You can't get people retained because, one, they don't know where they are going with the organization. But if you put proper structures in place where the HR processes and strategies is linked with the strategy of the business, i.e. the SMEs that we are talking about here, then your recruitment process will be linked to your strategy. Because the SMEs, I always say this, the HR principles are the same. whether big or large organizations. What varies is the practice. How they practice it is what varies. Whereas large organizations follow structured and sophisticated HR processes, SMEs want to go the informal way and unstructured process. But the point that you must know that to get value from people is to recruit, develop, retain, and reward them as well. So if you don't have structures in place, it will be very difficult. Unlike a big organization, their processes are sophisticated because you cannot do recruitment without job descriptions. The job description must also have a line of sight to the big strategy of the organization. So, whereas the principles for HR cuts across, whether big or small, the practices are different. Because SMEs have constraint of resources issues, because they will tell you we don't have the financial wherewithal to be able to practice what other large organizations are doing. Now we are using AI, artificial intelligence, to do recruitment, so that at a certain point it takes off the human biases that ordinarily people bring on board when they are recruiting people. But are SMEs ready to use sophisticated technology to inform their recruitment process? Most performance management processes have also been digitized. Okay, are SMEs ready to digitize their performance management process? So for me, the practice will vary.
But the principle will be the same.
Principle will be the same. But we need to focus on which practice will give us the value. Do we want structured or unstructured? Do we always want to allow the influence of the manager owner on the business, or to set a board that will be independent so that they can observe proper governance structures? So I think these are some of the things that we need to look at. To me, SMEs can practice HR well if they look at what the larger companies are doing. I'm not saying all large organizations are perfect or they are doing the best. No, in some organizations too, much as they have their vision there and mission there, when they are developing their people processes, some large organizations also don't follow. They do what I call templatism, where they borrow templates from other organizations. When people hear, oh, this organization is doing so well, and so give me your HR template. But the question you need to ask yourself is that organization mission and vision similar to yours? So for me, everything, we need to anchor it on the mission, vision, and the strategy of the organization. And SMEs must have mission, vision, and strategy.
You spoke about recruit, then you said reward, then you said develop, and then retain. It looks like a process.
It is.
It appears to me that developing your talent is more challenging, and also retention. Because yes, we can all recruit. Yes, we can all reward because you pay people for work. But talent development appears to be quite complicated. So too is retention. Because of the lack of structures, a lot of young talent prefer to work with large organizations. So for example, you meet people who say, I like this company I work for, but I don't get health insurance, or I don't get money for rent. So I'm going to work for a multinational. When I work for a multinational, there are all kinds of allowances. How can SMEs compete for talent in this type of environment?
I think this is an exciting question, but we'll take you back a little bit and we'll bring you back to your talent. You see, the fundamental of the HR process is recruitment. But at times, people think recruitment is easy. Because if you don't recruit the right person, okay, then how can you manage that person? How can you motivate that person? And how can you reward that person? So the beginning of the process is very, very critical. So the recruitment must be right. And when you are talking about talent, that means you are moving into the segmentation of your workforce. I.e., you are telling me some people are talented and others are untalented. So basically, you then need to define what talents mean to you, because the issue of who a talent is vary from organization to organization. So that organization must first identify what it classifies as talent. And there are so many models that can guide organizations. We have the 9-box, what I call the 9-box metrics, which map up your talents and other talent management processes as well. But to recruit and retain talent, that would drive your mission and vision and strategy. Then you need to know what kind of people do I need to drive my mission, vision, and strategy. That is number one. That's what you need to do. And that's where HR becomes very critical here. Then you do workforce analysis to understand the competencies, the workforce competencies that you will require to drive that kind of vision and mission. Because look, if you don't put in structures to retain talent, then though you've identified that person as a talent will fly. Because once you have also identified the person as talent, what are you doing uniquely as far as that talent is concerned in terms of reward, okay? Training and development, learning opportunities, giving the person stretch at time assignment. Because talent want to be challenged. They want to be recognized. They want to be appreciated. But they want to also be given an opportunity to express themselves. And now that you have a lot of generations in the workplace, okay, you have the baby boomers, you have the Gen Zs, and now the latest generation is called Generation Alpha. So the generation will keep coming. And these kind of generations also have their preferences, okay, what they like and what they don't like. So if you're also developing a talent strategy, it shouldn't be one size fits all, okay? You can also look at it from a generational point of view and look at, if I want to retain this kind of millennials or Gen Z, what kind of strategies do I need to put in place? If I want to retain Generation Alpha, what kind of strategies do I need to put in? If I want to motivate baby boomers who some of them have already exited the workforce, what do I need to do? So talent management should not be a one-size-fits-all approach. You need to look at it based on the uniqueness of the talent that you've identified and make sure that talent has the right training, the right developmental interventions in terms of stretch assignment and training and development. And the training should always not be on the job. You need to also have a kind of mixed training approach where you have both on the job and off the job as well. Because at times people also prefer to move away from the workplace and not everything being done at the workplace. And where there's an opportunity to also give them international exposure so that they learn best practices from other cultures, why not? You also do that. So a lot of HR processes go into identify the right talent and retaining them.
This is our own series, City Business Festival. Our final week, we're focusing on SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprise. My guest is Dr. Francis Eduku, who is the CEO of the Chartered Institute of Human Resource Management, Ghana. We're talking about human resources management for SMEs. I think in our earlier conversation, you said there was a difference between HRM and personnel management. As in human resource management and personnel management.
That's the offsite conversation, is it?
So yes, so when you say people are doing personnel management, is it like they are doing something wrong? Is personnel management a subset of human resource management?
You see, every profession goes through evolution. And the HR profession has also evolved over the years. We didn't start with HR, human resource management. Okay? It started from welfare, moved to personnel, now HR, strategic HR. And now we need to even find a name because it's now about HR and AI, is it? Yeah. Because, so for me, we need to understand what underpins the personal practice, where people were being treated as if they have no human feelings, where people were being controlled as if they have no minds on their own, where employees feel like they can hire and fire employees at any time, and where more of the HR process have been record keeping, administration, and why not? That is the personal aspect I'm talking about. But now we have evolved where the human potential and aspirations has been recognized. And that's why we now talk of human resource management, where we have the human values and the management aspect. So we need to think about what processes do we need to put in place to motivate this kind of resource, because we are talking of human resource. That means people have something unique in them that they can bring out to support the business. So what do you need to do to make sure this resource will voluntarily bring us some of the things to achieve the business objective? Because for me, if employees were to work according to the job description that they are given, then companies will not achieve their strategy. Because then they go the extra mile to do what is not even on paper. Okay? So the HR function must be seen that the people management practices is linked to the strategic needs of the business, because that way, then the profession or the practice will be recognized. But if you do the administration or you practice and there is no link to the mission and the vision and strategy of the business, then I can tell you are not doing HR, because that is not the essence of HR. HR is to have direct influence on the business, unlike personnel management.
When I talk to people who run small companies, one of their biggest complaints is beyond the issue of not keeping talent. They basically say, I invest in somebody. I bring a guy, maybe a graphic designer or a programmer. I take him to GIMPA or UPSA, or I pay for him to go and do a course. And then when he's finished, he leaves the company. So some of them are saying, I don't even see the point in spending money on some of my staff, because when I've set them up, spent money on them, then they go and work for another company. What advice do you have for company owners, small company owners, who feel that because it's difficult to retain, maybe they should not be investing in their human resource, because it's like they've invested and the money went down the drain?
Yeah, I think that is the issue that most corporations have, that we invest and people leave. But first of all, we need to ask ourselves, if you don't train the person and the person has no skills, then he cannot also perform well to achieve your objectives. So training is a must. Okay? As to when we train people leave, we need to find out why are they leaving. Okay? So if you look at people are leaving and you conduct exit interviews, probably they will give you some reasons. Because at times people don't leave organizations because of money. At times they leave because of poor management practices. Okay? Because of some leadership style, some supervisory style. So we need to have a look at our people management practices, because if you don't train your leaders who lead your people as to how to manage people, then invariably you have problems. Because we assume that once you're a manager, you can manage people without equipping some of the managers the skills that they need to lead their team. But most talent leave because of attitudes of leaders. So leaders need to be developed not only in the hard skill, we need to also focus on their soft skills, how they communicate, how they motivate, how they care about their employees. Because if you don't care about employees, if you've trained me so much, but you don't value me, I will leave. If you train me, if you invested so much, and now when I come, instead of opportunities that I should be given, I'm not giving the opportunities, then the talent will look elsewhere. Okay? If you've trained somebody and the person has come and your processes that should be flexible or should enable that person to implement the competencies that he has acquired or she has acquired. And those systems are frustrating the person. Then you don't expect the person to stay. So if we want to retain talent, we need to understand effective human resource management practices, how to deal with people, how to treat people as individual persons, okay? Understand their uniqueness, understand their preferences, understand what motivates them and what doesn't. So I think if you put this whole holistic HR package into being as to how you should manage them so that they can bring the best in them and support the business, I think they will stay. Look, people stay not because of money. People stay because of leadership. Okay, people stay because of organization processes that allow them to have a voice. Okay, but if the organization is even paying me so well, assuming the organization is paying me even so well, and I'm not treated as a human being, do you think I will stay? No. So the factors that will motivate people to stay are varied. But for me, one, we need to make sure we treat people fairly, we respect them, and we value them as human beings.
Finally, what does the CIHRM do? Any things you offer in terms of services to help business owners to strengthen their HR functions?
Yeah, for us in CIHRM, our focus is to help organizations achieve their objectives through people. Okay, so our focus is to develop the competencies of managers, HR practitioners, the requisite HR skills that they need to be successful. And I'm happy that we have solid models that cuts across the HR spectrum, such that if you come and you get exposed to our offerings, then you'll be better off to lead, not only as an HR executive, but to be seen as a people manager, somebody who is there to make sure people bring their best to achieve the aims of the business.
Thank you for talking to us, Dr. Francis Eduku, CEO of the CIHRM Ghana. He's been speaking to us about the role of human resource management in SMEs as part of our fourth and final week of the Citi Business Festival. Thanks for listening. We'll be with you next time. Bye-bye. Petroleum Hub Development Corporation. So Ghana is working to produce a petroleum hub, to create a petroleum hub, which is an integrated petroleum and petrochemical complex in the western region, to be overseen by the Petroleum Hub Development Corporation. So I have in studio Charles Owusu, who is the CEO of the Petroleum Hub Development Corporation, to talk about what this petroleum hub is all about, what will it do for the economy of the country, and who can invest in it. Charles, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you,
Wonderful.
Bernard.
Wonderful.
And good morning to your listeners.
So tell me about Ghana's Petroleum Hub. What is this?
Thank you, Bernard. Ghana Petroleum Hub is one of the strategic initiatives by the government. They seeking to produce 3 refineries with a capacity of 300,000 barrels per stream day. That will give you 900,000 barrels per stream day. Looking to build 5 petrochemical plants and then build 10 million cubic meters in terms of storage tanks and jetties. These are key infrastructure. Then we look at the ancillaries. We are looking at transportation in the case of road, rail, and air. Then we're looking at utilities in terms of power plants to the tune of 1,000 megawatt minimum.
Wow.
Yes, we're looking at waste treatment. We're looking at water treatment. And then we come to other ancillaries, which is LNG terminals, state-of-the-art laboratories, fabrications, hospitals, training institutions, educational setup. Putting all this together give you the hub concept, and it's estimated to cost 60 billion, and it's going to sit on a 20,000 acre land in Jomro.
Wow, these are huge numbers in terms of the number of refineries, petrochemical industries, and all this. So when was this conceptualized, and who is going to deliver this?
Great. So this is one of the policies by the president in 2017. And one of the key policies that the Ministry of Energy were given to run. So this happened in July 2017 under the then minister, Honorable Boache Jako, who put a task force together to actually research into it. This is how the president put it: making Ghana the Rotterdam of Africa. And then they needed to actually research whether it's a mere statement or backed by data. And if you look at our sub-region, we've been importing petroleum product 2021, 43 million metric ton, 2022, 45 million metric ton. Just last year, it came to 44.5 metric ton. And where are we getting all this product from? From the Rotterdam. So about 56% are imported. And this is where the president, through the Ministry of Energy and this agency known as the PADC, will drive it, trying to curb it. So we don't need to go to Rotterdam, but we just need to go to Jomro to pick product. One thing is this project is going to happen for the country is that it's going to make Ghana a vertically integrated oil and gas country, meaning we explore, we refine, and we do the trading or the marketing and the retailing. So that is the good news to the people of Ghana and the West Africa and the continent at large.
And it's been overseen by the Ghana Petroleum Hub Development Corporation.
Yes.
So is this a state agency? Is this a state project?
Yes. So this is a statutory corporation set up by the Parliament of Ghana in 2020. President assented to it on 29 December 2020. So it became effective January 2021. If you look at the section 2, it has a broad mandate that to promote and develop petroleum and petrochemical in Ghana. So it gives you that broad mandate. And in Ghana is where we found a suitable location in Jomro. Someone will ask why Jomro. There were 3 locations that were cited. That is South Pond area, Atuabo area, and Jomro. Jomro because the Ghana Maritime Authority did a research, and to be able to do this mega project in terms of oil and gas trading, one of the key factors that you need is the depth of your waters. And if you take the Jomro waters, we are looking at 16 to 27 meters, which is above international standard. And also they have a flat land, and in terms of resettlement of people were very minimal. So that is why Jomro was uniquely selected for such project.
So the project is supposed to cost how much? 60 billion? Is it cedis or dollars?
60 billion US dollars.
Are you serious?
Yes.
$60 billion. Wow.
Yes, Ben.
where are you going to get that money from?
Great. So the project cost 60 billion this is how we put it, is a government-led but private sector development. Okay. So this is not coming from the consolidated fund. Is the private sector coming together with this fund. And a week today, last week, 18 June, where we signed our phase 1. And before I come to what we signed last week, this whole project has been phased into 3 because of the huge nature of it and the risk. So we have phase 1, we have phase 2, and we have phase 3. Each of these phases are mutually exclusive. They are independent. Okay. So phase 1 is looking at 1 refinery, 1 petrochemical plant, 3 million storage, and a jetty. Phase 2 is looking at 1 refinery, 4 million storage, and 2 petrochemical plants, and a jetty. Phase 3, 1 refinery, 2 petrochemical plants, 4 million storage, and a jetty. So that will gives you the whole concept. And phase 1 is looking at $12 billion. Phase 2, $27 billion, and phase 3, $21 billion. Okay. Fortunately for us, we've been quiet on the ground during the action. Last week, 18 June, we signed a phase 1 with a consortium from the Asia, and that is the 12 billion. And in August, we're going to do the ground break. September, they've already done the feasibility study, so we're just going to do the feed, the front end engineering design, and by end of first quarter 2025, the construction will begin. So that is how the whole funding, and we are looking at the investment model is build, own, and operate. It's a unique thing. It's a novel, the first of its kind, because we want to take government involvement in how private sector thrive, because we've all come to the conclusion that the private sector is the center or the engine of growth and for development. So that is how this whole project seeks to achieve, and that is how government is not partaking in terms of equity or in terms of investment, but just to create the enabling environment for the private sector to thrive. So
where would the money come from? Who's going to support this? Is it like investors coming in to build specific components? Is the government going to put in any seed money? Is there a fund that's been put aside for this? Because $12 billion is...
Yes, so this 12...
let's put this in context. We just got $4 billion in... $4.7 billion in debt relief, right, from our Eurobond partners. Ghana's overall external debt stock, when you put everything together, the debt we're trying to restructure was about 44 billion. All right, so if you say you're building a hub of 60 billion, what's the time frame for this, and what, who will pay for this? If you can talk about the timeline and who's going to pay for this.
Yes, so the timeline in each of the phases is 5 years. So we're looking at 15 years time lag. Now, with the phase 1 that we've signed, their timeline that they brought is 48 months. That is 4 years. So what they've done is that they will have even 1 year lag in terms of the commissioning. And in terms of where the funding are coming from, as I said, it's coming from the private sector. So this consortium are going to provide the funding right from the construction and in constructing the storage, the refinery, petrochemical plants, employment, and all of that. What government did, which is very strategic, was to get the land, secure the land from the people of Jomro, and also set up the agency. So that is where the government contribution and incentive, because the land is going to be declared as a free zones. That will also incentivize these investors to come on board. And as we said, now we levy phase 2 and phase 3. What we are pleading with the Ghanaians businesses is to come together and form a consortium, as others have done. We don't want foreigners alone to come and partake. And then later we come and say, we were never told. So we are pleading that Ghanaians will come together, maybe 10 people, 20 group, form a consortium, and then come in for the phase 2 and phase 3, because we are left with the phase 2 and phase 3. That is what we are now pitching, though the phase 1 is gone.
So when you say it's gone, are you saying people have signed on to build projects worth $12 billion?
Yes, please. That's what we did last week.
And these are companies from where?
China. So we are looking at China Huan Engineering Group. We are looking at China State Construction Third Engineering Bureau. We are looking at Touchstone Capital Group Holdings Limited, and then a Ghanaian partner, which is the UIC Energy Limited. So,
and these are all committing to putting up projects within the area.
Yes, so they are doing 1 refinery. They are doing 3 million storage capacity. Then they are doing a jetty and one petrochemical plant.
I see.
Yeah.
And all to the cost of $12 billion.
Yes, $12 billion.
And they've signed, is it an MOU or what have they signed?
No. We signed MOU in December 18, 2019. But what we've signed is the main agreement. So there are two agreements to this project. So we have the project agreement. So we have project phase 1 agreement, and then we have the lease agreement.
Okay.
So that constitutes the phase 1 agreement. So the lease agreement is the land that we're giving to them to build all this infrastructure. And then the project agreement then comes with a timeline. So with this agreement, you have 6 months to move to site, to start the clearing, to start the mobilization, and you have 12 months to finish your financial close. If you are not able to do this, the agreement terminates automatically. And then there's an assessor, independent assessor, that will assess the loss to the state. So they pay us all those losses. So that's
so has this gone through Parliament? Has Parliament been involved at all? Has any law been passed to establish any of this?
Yes, so we are statutory corporation. So we are operating under Act 1053, which is the Petroleum Hub Development Corporation Act 2020, Act 1053. That gives us that mandate. If you look at even the Section 4, gives a mandate to go into JVs and all of that. So
that's Act 1053.
Yes, please.
I see. So the question is, why wouldn't we invest all these monies into Tor? You have a refinery that's not functioning, and you want to spend 12 billion to build other things. I mean, is that not? Isn't, as they say in Twi,
okay, Bernard, you and I know that Tor is a limited liability company, and they have their own boards. They take policy decisions from the ministry. Recently, we all read about Tor getting strategic partnership. As we said, this 12 billion is not coming from the central government, and this is more of policy direction. We've all read what the ministry is doing, cabinet, to fix Tor. So I think that question will be more of a policy direction, but from where I sit is to be able to promote and attract investors. If that 12 billion was coming from the consolidated fund, then maybe we'll reconsider.
So it's an investment decision by private people.
Exactly.
But government has made land available. Government has passed the law, and I'm sure government will own part of this, definitely.
Not in the short to mid-term, because that is the concept. Government trying to take away, government trying to create the enabling environment for the private sector to thrive. So that is the main concept. So looking at government involvement in terms of ownership, I don't see it in the short term.
So have you finished feasibility studies? Where will we get, where are we going to refine our own oil, or are we going to make it a refinery for other people's oil? Because within West Africa, Nigeria has the most oil, and they have the Dangote refinery, which we are told delivers over 600,000 barrels per day in terms of refinery. So what's the plan? How are you going to get? Are you just building it as a tourist attraction, or is it a place that people come and actually refine their petroleum products?
Great. So thank you, Bernard, for this question. So if you look at the phase 1, the arrangement that they are having their own supplier of crude and then off-taker of product. Given our production now in the upstream, it's not enough to feed the hub, but there are a lot of discovery coming up. So now Namibia, Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, even Liberia. So in the short to mid-term, the arrangement between investors is to come with their own suppliers of crude to be able to refine. What this whole hub seeks to do is to complement the existing hubs or existing refineries, like you mentioned, of Tor, Sentio, Dangote, and then Ghana and say Nigeria become the energy solution for West Africa and the continent. Remember, we are looking at Africa continental free trade, trying to make one market, 1.3 billion market available, 3.3 trillion combined GDP. So this is what the hub seeks to do. So it's a futuristic thing trying to start from today. And that is what...
Charles, if you think about it, the biggest conversation in the world today is about energy transition and the COP arrangement. So people are moving to net zero carbon. Countries are transitioning to renewables. So you're talking about the future. So why should a petroleum refining hub be part of our future conversation? Should we not rather be thinking about moving completely away from fossil fuels?
Okay, thank you, Bernard. I believe you've heard about the trilemma of energy trilemma, and it's looking at the security, energy just, and sustainability, which you spoke about it. What now the energy transition began now is saying that now it's just transition. each and every country to develop how you want to transit. And Ghana has launched its energy transition and investment plan in the COP, during the COP 27. And Petroleum Hub is one of the key components in this whole energy transition. What we're trying to do is that to 2060, that is where Ghana will transit properly. Now, Bernard, the growth strategy is that you can calibrate all your refineries, because now gas has been selected as the transition fuel. All you need to do is to calibrate your refineries into petrochemical plant. Remember, we have 5 petrochemical plants and you have 3 refineries. So if you have accepted that we are going in the gas way, what you need to do, and every refinery capacity is 50 years, and then you can recalibrate it depending on the technology you are using. So let's say by 2060, if you properly, that's why we are transiting, you then configure this your refinery into petrochemical plant, and then you are in there, because you see that's why we call it the energy industrial park. So it's not just looking at the refinery, but this is what our immediate needs. Right. So we should be able to implement it than importing. Bernard, we spend over $400 million every month importing petroleum product. If you are doing it here, and there's arrangement, because bringing it to the domestic market will be less than 10%. So there can be a policy decision where we can pick product even in cedis and pay back in cedis, because the 90% will be in hard currency.
So how
dollar.
can people contact you if there are any people interested in this? How can we do it?
Info at padc.gov.gh, our website www.padc.gov.gh. We are 335 Place, 8th floor at Jolu, near the Shell, Fiesta, Shell, Talo. So we are in the same building with Modec, and that's where we are. So,
we are can go online to phdc.gov.gh. Thank you, Charles Owusu, who is the Chief Executive of the Petroleum Hub Development Corporation, who are seeking to develop Ghana's first petroleum hub in a $60 billion integrated project. Lots to talk about this later on. So many things to say, a lot of expectations, but we'll leave the show here for now. My name is Bernard Avle. I was here with Nathan Kwao, which is Kai. Caleb is in Rwanda. And coming up is the news at 10. Ajua Ting